Conscripted by a secret organization, a group of strangers is loaded into experimental metapods, hurtling their souls across dimensions and into unsuspecting avatars. With each trip across reality, these newly minted metapilots gain access to unique powers and abilities, slowly transforming them into true masters of the Metaverse.
Hey everybody, it is Meta Monday! Welcome to Masters of the Metaverse on the Zombie Orpheus Entertainment channel here on Twitch. I'm your host and GM, James Durham. Joining me at the virtual table, I have Helen Roundhill, Mark Thomason, Sean Franklin, and Christian Doyle. We've got Leo back on tech in the real studio, bringing us live to you.
Leo!
Now, what is Masters of the Metaverse? Well, you know, it's only the most interactive live stream RPG on the planet.
Oh man,
most interactive. I mean, who else has that? Nobody else has that. We have that. Nobody else has that. You can't have that. It's mine. There you go. That's right. You, the audience, can influence and change the show live as it is happening. How? Well, first, we have our store, which you can check out right now and see how you can impact things, change things, throw in a hack attack, some rules are cool, system shocks, meta points, you name it, it's there. You can change the game with it. In addition to that, we have our weekly Patreon polls, and I have the results. Do you guys want to know how you did?
Yes.
See ya? All right.
Only always.
Sean, this week you get plus 20 health and plus 4 to a roll.
Wow, nice. Thank you, folks. 20 health. All right.
Helen, this week you get plus 20 health and plus 2 to a roll.
Okay.
Mark, this week you get plus 30 health and plus 4 to a roll.
Wow.
Christian, this week you get plus 30 health and plus 5 to a roll.
What?
All right.
And in last place, I get plus 10 health and plus 2 to a roll, and everything is precisely as it should be. Oh, hey, speaking of Patreon, I've got some special backers I'd like to thank. James Herbert, thank you. Justin Hotchkiss Palermo, thank you. And
Thank
Ben Mobley, thank you.
Who was the last one?
Benjamin
Benjamin Mobley.
Thank you, Ben.
Wow.
Thanks, guys. Thank you all very much. Without Patreon, we couldn't bring you shows. I mean, you guys make this possible. Not only do you help us get new equipment for the studio, you pay for the roof over the head of the studio, for the utility bills, and for everything else.
And the studio cat.
What is this mythical studio you speak of?
Place that we once went to long ago.
You mean Mark's house? Because I'm pretty convinced Mark's just at home, and
No, I don't think he is.
he's a lighting designer. He can make it look like that. He's probably sitting in a urinal or something.
Yeah. Broadcasting live from a honey bucket near you.
Mark, I can literally see you go shh. It's kind of like being in the same room.
Yeah.
Except you guys don't have to deal with the constant smell of cigarettes and weed that is me.
I mean, have you been to my
Can't
house?
argue with it.
Smells like here. I mean, fair.
I am not going to comment on any of these subjects.
His house smells like lights.
It smells like lights.
So, guys, previously on Masters of the Metaverse, our heroes entered a video game-style metaverse in the avatars of the Freedom Force, based out of Freedom City, which also seems to be the entirety of this metaverse. Occupying the city are a seemingly limitless quantity of Boris Krushkevs, the evil mastermind of the Red Scorpion terrorist group, who has taken control of the city. With Boris everywhere, our heroes attempted to make a break for one of the nearby islands in a safe house there, only to trigger an ever-escalating series of responses as they fought. In a daring last-minute maneuver, they boarded a patrol boat and escaped to nearby Liberty Island, laying low while helicopters, tanks, and patrol boats scoured the region, searching for them, only to somehow give up their search after a time and withdraw to who knows where. It would seem that the confrontational approach in this metaverse is not one that favors our heroes. But what now? Why is everybody Boris? What is he after? And how do you stop him when he is everywhere and everyone? The warehouse you've managed to hole up in on the waterfront is old and decrepit, and clearly hasn't seen use in some time, if ever. But then again, in a video game world, what use is an actual warehouse where it's just one city? It's not like anything is being shipped anywhere on this fly speck of a metaverse.
That's fair.
It's entirely possible no one has ever used this warehouse, ever.
Maybe it's a WHERE house.
I don't get it. Oh, wait.
Oh, no.
I hope still no.
It's a WHERE warehouse. What does that mean?
Can I get a
Is that a fake?
quick slider check?
Yep, you are currently one away from Crash there, Crash and Sure Shot. Let's see.
Copy that.
John Stone / Hotwire is full Hotwire. Bruno / Nightwatch is full Bruno. And Andy / Freerunner is full Andy at the moment.
And since we're on week 2 of this, I get to add one new phrase to my 5-phrase count for Sure
That's
Shot.
correct.
I'm taking suggestions from chat now.
You hear that, chat? Come up with some suggestions for one more phrase for Sure Shot.
Did I do that?
And please don't pick that one.
No suggestions from you.
Sorry.
I love it. I think that's the one that you could go with.
Adorable.
Oh, man, Merc.
That's really good. That's good, Merc.
There are some good ones coming up. In the meantime, you are in this rather unused warehouse. And it's at this particular time, Crash, that you notice something distinctly strange. There is a tiny golden thread, seemingly stretching from somewhere within your arm, almost transparent in nature, and going towards the door. It should be also noted that no one else can see this golden thread but Crash. And you are very aware from your position in the slider that Sure Shot cannot see this golden thread either. Only Crash Jackson can.
Wonder where that goes.
There's a slight tug at you every time you look at it, like it's trying to pull you along.
Hey, something weird is happening over here, and I start following it.
You head towards one of the nearby man-sized doors on the warehouse leading out into the street. Down here towards the waterfront on Liberty Island, it's fairly abandoned, particularly at this hour. And you follow the thread outside and around the corner up to the corner edge of the block, where there is a nearby telephone pole. And on that telephone pole is where this golden thread is seemingly ending, right at a grainy black and white picture of Tom on old yellow paper, cracked and torn at the edges, very weathered, like it's been up here for a long time. And on it, it reads, "Have you seen this man? Please call 555-555-5555.
I'm never going to remember that.
Hey man, Wagwan, who this guy here?
I don't really know what to do, so I go, Screenshot.
There's a distinct clicking sound, and you have a screenshot saved.
Excellent. I was really hoping that would work. I will wander back into the never-been-used warehouse where my compatriots await.
Yep, it's still there, still rather unused. It's all set up as though someone could use it. There's even an office in there. It just clearly hasn't been used.
Are there doors that don't go anywhere?
Yes, they
Okay.
just don't even open.
The standard video game hideout, then.
Yes.
I found something.
Care to share?
I'm trying to figure out how. Share a screenshot?
And the screenshot is shared in front of everyone as though floating in the air.
Go Freedom Force!
Okay, that's weird.
It's an image of a telephone pole with a Hawaiian shirt and glasses dressed man on it. The piece of paper he's on is really old and yellowed and weather beaten, like it's been there a long time. And it has the writing on it of, "Have you seen this man? Please call," and then the number of all fives.
Is it
Come on, how does this guy look like different than everybody else? Everybody else is Boris, and this guy is different.
That is a Tom.
It's old, right? So it's got to predate Boris taking over everyone.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's no real date on it. The only indicating thing is a phone number.
But it proves that he was here after Andy was here and stayed here, or at least one of the fragments of him was here. Right?
I mean,
track?
presumably.
Does that track with everybody?
I don't recall him being visible to any of the inhabitants previous to that.
Right, he was more like a voice for the pilots, right?
Yeah.
To them.
And he could show up, but they wouldn't be looking for him here unless one of those fragment guys was here.
I would assume so.
So who he
Well,
is?
Unless
That-
he wrote himself in. Well, I guess it's not really a game, it's just like a game.
All right.
So who he is?
Right, that confirms our theory that the way Boris is doing this is maybe by using Tom.
Yeah.
Poor Hotwire seems to be very confused as to who Tom
Okay.
is.
You know Amy too good. Who he is?
Ah, Tom stands for Tactical Operations Matrix, a known terrorist organization on several cities. Probably got kidnapped by Boris, and his ability was used to copy himself over and over again.
Oh, we've seen that before.
Right. He's doing an Agent Smith.
But he's 10% better looking than Boris.
15.
15, sorry, 15.
Thank you.
And Boris couldn't have that, so they're all Boris's instead of Tom's.
Well, depending on how narcissistic you are, he might,
Also, my phrase suggestion I took from Aaron Williams. Thank you very much.
Oh.
So if Boris got the Tom, are we after Boris or we after Tom?
Well, if we get Tom away from Boris, maybe he can't do his thing. I imagine that, and I'm just absolutely spitballing here. Maybe my theory is that he's using Tom to have this ability, right? If we take away his access to that Tom shard, maybe he won't have that ability anymore, and things can go back to a little bit normal. That way we're only fighting one end boss instead of everybody.
Everybody, yeah. Did we ever establish, is he making more of himself or is he turning others into himself?
It looks like he's taking regular NPCs and turning them into it, but we've never seen it happen, so we can't confirm that.
Okay.
So if
Since
this
all
Tom's
of the
so powerful,
NPCs are him, but since there's not anybody else aside from that first spawn zone, I'm guessing that he is just assimilating them.
I
so if
see.
this Tom's so powerful, how we get caught then?
Hashtag MetaPoint. Maybe it's like when a cicada sheds its shell. You're left with something completely hollow that looks exactly like what was there before. All shape and no
Ew.
substance. Or maybe Tom was born here.
Thank you, chat.
Just
Both
little
great suggestions.
So
cicada shells everywhere. Crunch when you step on them.
here's the question I have, and Crash, you've been in this before in a cartoon world. We're in a video game, but do we think how much of this is like a dream of what a video game is like from an end user perspective, or is this world actually like written in computer language?
That I don't see anything like I don't see any weird pixelization or anything that would suggest that it's a program. But what is odd about it is like when we were in that cartoon world, everything was a cartoon, but we were also cartoon like space people, right? So when we flew from one planet to another planet, there was all this space and travel time in between. It was a whole place, right? This is like just a city.
Right.
There doesn't seem to be anything outside of it.
Rascal, you talk crazy, man. You act like you're here with me. I'm here, you here, but you act like you ain't here with me.
I'm totally here with you. You know, we've all been, we all got drugged from the tank round that was a gas canister. You just didn't get affected by that. We're still hallucinating. Don't worry about it, Hotwire.
It's
I
just
mean-
that strong constitution of yours, Hotwire. You're not as susceptible as the rest of us.
Yeah, what I meant to say was, I have the shot.
You, yeah, of course.
Him have the shot. That's my man right there. I love this guy. He always got the shot.
Amazing.
So what we do now?
One of the nice things about having been to so many metaverses is this is not the first time we've had to, you know, deal with this kind of situation. Usually there's at least one of us that's on the opposite end of the spectrum from everyone else.
True.
And
Hey,
it feels
on the spectrum, huh? You trying to say something about me brain?
Oh, not even a little bit.
of anybody here that might do that, I would be the very last person, I promise.
At this point in the conversation, Bruno, you happen to notice there's an old yellowed phone book sitting on the desk in the office here in the warehouse.
Huh. I haven't seen one of these in a few years. Pick it up. Take a look at it.
Oh, I remember these. These are what the TV Christians used to rip in half, right?
Yeah, and what you sit on to, be a little higher at the table when you're little. Flipping through it, is every number 555-5555?
No, there's a full catalog of phone numbers and even a reverse directory in it.
Ooh, look up 867-5309. I just want to know if it's real.
Sure.
Look,
Someone
Look at-
named Jenny is listed under that number.
Yes.
Also known as Stacy's mom and Jesse's girl.
oh man, I should have known that Jesse's girl and Stacy's mom had something going on.
So, 555-5555?
Yeah, it's listed as Thunder Research, based out of Independence Island, and there's an address.
Oh, sounds like we're going to Independence Island.
What island are we on right now again?
Liberty
I think. Oh, Liberty?
Show map.
The map pops up. You were on the nearest map to the coast. Independence Island is the furthest map from the coast.
How many islands do we have to hop to get there?
Well, it depends on if you're traveling by land or not.
Yeah.
Traveling by
mean-
land, it's the last island in the chain, so you would have to travel through 3 more islands to reach there.
So we probably want a boat.
Well, we have a boat, so we got here by boat.
Correct.
That
You
is
do
true.
have a boat.
What
You-
condition is that boat in?
It's not too terrible. I mean, it has a couple of bullet holes in it, and the worst thing it's got going on is there's an SUV seemingly parked on the rear section of it, that isn't going anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah, me sorry about that.
No, don't be. That was a fancy bit of driving hot wire, and frankly, we're all grateful for it.
Speak for yourself.
Sorry, I mean, what I mean is, target down.
You need to calm down a bit there, Nightmare. You know I got you there safe, huh?
In the phone book, I'd like to look up Bruno.
That name's not in that phone book.
Boris.
There are quite a few Borises listed in there with different last names, but only one Boris Khrushchev is listed in there.
What's that address listed as?
Independence Island Penitentiary.
Wow. You get your own phone number in the penitentiary.
It's a directory of known NPCs. It makes sense. Okay.
Do we have any other objectives on other islands?
There's a safe house located on each one of the islands, and the objectives were set up to liberate and secure these safe houses in order, but that is seemingly impossible with the sheer number of Borises running around and what happened the last time you left the spawn zone.
Oh, you mean when we spent 3 hours trying to cross a bridge?
That was a really long fight scene.
It was great. I loved it.
What was the name of your avatar when you were here last?
Oh. I don't think I remember.
You had numbers.
You had a number.
Oh. I mean, that makes sense to a degree. Yeah, I mean, at that point in time,
You were full pilot all the time, right? Whatever tested your avatars.
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, not full pilot. But at that point, we weren't really
They weren't real.
aware
Yeah.
that they were real people.
They weren't real avatars.
Sorry?
They weren't real avatars.
Oh.
First time you were in real avatars was the Borks.
Cruel.
Because didn't you already have? Hadn't you already been in Rita or something at that point?
No, at that point I had
Blue
been
Streak.
in
You had
Blue
been in
Streak.
before.
Yeah. I had been in Blue Streak previous to ever appearing on the stream or in this experience. Yep. So I had hidden super speed.
Is there a section I can look up the number of what Andy or Brony or anybody's avatars were in this world the last time? Does anything?
You wouldn't know how. I mean, it works a lot like a phone book. So you don't have a name or phone number to work with.
Before the A's, a bunch of numbers.
No, nothing of the sort.
The numbers that we remember from when Andy was here last don't show up as a phone number.
Nope, they aren't listed as people inside this phone book.
Look up Tom.
There's quite a few Toms in there, but none with just a single name of Tom. They're all, Tom Smith, Tom Robbins, Tom Alexander.
Tom Robbins. All right.
Look under tactical.
Tactical.
That's his first name.
Yeah, there's actually a listed tactical operations matrix in there. It's the same address and phone number as Thunder Research.
Great.
I'm going to give him a call.
Do we have a phone in here?
I'm sure we do.
Can be like,
In
say,
fact, they're carrying cellular phones.
Yeah. Phone.
Yeah. You dial the number and you get the beep message, and we're sorry, this number has been disconnected or is no longer in use.
Do you want to dial Boris as well? Just shits and giggles.
He did have a number at the penitentiary.
Is it 4?
Are you going to dial Boris?
Dialing up Boris at the Independence Island Penitentiary.
The phone rings a couple of times and then is answered. Boris here.
Hey, Boris, how you doing?
I am great. Wait, who is this? This isn't Boris.
Of course it's Boris. What are you talking about?
You don't sound like Boris.
Come on, man. Try to sound like Boris.
I'm practicing my voice technique.
That's an awful lot of independent thought you got right there.
Well, what do you want? I am busy, man.
Just checking in on how things are on Independence Island.
Just fine.
Psst, hey, man. Ask him about that guy, the Tom.
What?
Do not.
Thanks.
Ask him if there's a Boris convention coming up because we just can't wait to party.
What are you guys doing?
Good day, Boris.
What was that there, Mark? I didn't hear you.
You have a good day, Boris.
Okay, you have a good day. See you later. Boris, out. Hangs up.
Boris out. I'm gonna hang up.
Okay.
So, land is a bad option. Sea is a possibility.
Air.
Outside, you hear the rumbling of thunder, which doesn't make sense because it was bright and sunny 10 minutes ago. And then you can hear rain hitting the roof of the warehouse.
Great.
So we head back to the boat?
We got to go straight there. Yeah.
Let's do it. Independence Island.
All right, you climb aboard the damaged boat with an SUV parked atop it and begin heading towards Independence Island. It is raining and getting increasingly worse, and a thunderstorm has started.
Does the boat have an open cockpit or a closed cockpit?
It has a closed cockpit.
A boat of this size, I imagine, would have a closed cockpit.
Yep. It looks a lot like a cutter, if you're familiar with a cutter.
Yeah.
Just gonna look that up right now. Just for my own.
Hey, Hotwire, let's head for Independence Island.
Where do you think we going, man? But what are we gonna do when we get there? I ain't heard no plan yet. We go in there, just knock on the door.
Let's go scope it out and see what we're dealing with.
We're definitely not going to knock on the door, but we're definitely going to scope out that place.
All right.
I do.
You head towards Independence Island. There are occasionally passing patrol boats in the distance out in the water, but with the chop as bad as it is and the rain coming down, you think it is unlikely that even with binoculars or some other form of optical equipment that you were spotted making your way through, even with your obviously different patrol boat having an SUV parked on the back.
Hey, man, at this range, we should probably not get any closer, you know what I'm saying? If we get closer, they see us. They figure out where we're going. Maybe it's time to get a little bit more stealthy, a little bit more tactical.
What did you have in mind?
You pass around the first island by this time, making your way closer towards Independence Island, which you can see from your map and now in the distance is definitely the largest island. And even with the inclement weather, you can see that there are quite a few helicopters patrolling the skies around Independence Island and above it. You continue to make your way around, doing your best to steer out of the way of patrols from going too near them. But again, the bad weather and the chop make it fairly easy for you to not be seen as you make your way through, or not be seen as anything more than another patrol boat. And after passing the third island and getting closer so that Independence is within your sight, I'm going to take notice checks from everybody on board the boat, please.
Hit it by 8.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Bruno's perception is
Ooh. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I beat mine by 11.
Beat by 5.
Oh, there it is. I beat by 1.
By 1. In the enclosed cockpit, you have a harder time seeing than the others, so you are the only one that doesn't notice this. But you do notice one of the two things that this check was for. The first thing that all of you notice, including Hotwire, is there aren't any patrol boats in the immediate vicinity of Independence Island. And then everyone but Hotwire notices that there are a tremendous amount of small floating objects in the water surrounding the island, which Crash, you can tell immediately, are mines.
Man, I was voting for laser sharks.
Laser shark, do 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 do. Laser shark, do 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 do. Laser shark, do 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 do. Laser shark. Photon shark, do 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 do. Wow, that's a cool dance. Hey man, you know I noticed there's nothing I hear, no other boats but us out here.
Yeah, hold up. Okay, are we aimed at the shore at least?
Somewhat. You're about a half mile away from it, and that's where the mines seem to be concentrated pretty much all the way in.
Great.
There's no way of getting this boat past them. It's just too big.
Oh, okay. Never mind then. That's all the GM saying there's no way to do something is surefire way for me to not try anything.
It's usually a surefire way for me to try something, but I will let cooler heads prevail.
A smaller boat could probably do it.
I'm not going to attempt it.
A smaller boat could probably do it. A smaller boat could probably do it, but that cutter is just too big to make it through any of the gaps around those mines without having one pushed into it.
The boat for a dinghy. Itty bitty dinghy. Bob and Wing. Huh?
James, what did you say could probably do it?
If you had something smaller, the cutter's just too big to make it between those mines.
And apparently she wants a dinghy. She even made up a dance for it.
I did.
With a dinghy dance, what it was?
It doesn't.
Anything though?
What
Sorry?
was that?
Anybody have any ideas?
I had an idea. A dinghy. It's small.
Do we have a dinghy?
I don't know. I was saying that we should search the boat for a dinghy.
Why did you do that since it was your idea?
There's an emergency box on board the rear of the cutter, and in it is an emergency raft, in fact.
Is it like a Zodiac or just like a...
Oh, no, it's an emergency raft.
So it's like orange or yellow or something?
Yep. Inflatable, nice, bright orange, and be pretty tight for 4 people, but you can do it. There are, in fact, 2 of them inside there, along with a box that has a flare gun and some purified water and some basic food.
Is it motorized?
Absolutely not.
No?
This is a trick.
We got good news and we got bad news. The good news is we got other boats. The bad news is
We got other boats.
So Crash,
we keep stopping ourselves up to the man because they can see us coming a mile away.
how much access do you have to some of those powers of yours as far as like getting 4 of us moved from here to there?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
What do
Sorry.
you want to know?
How much?
This is Am Express.
Yeah. How much power access do you have? Can you just move us all over there, or is there a way to just jump with the 4 of us, leave the boat floating out here, and jump the 4 of us right to land?
I mean, yeah, theoretically I could do something like that. I don't generally like moving people that are on my side because it can go terribly wrong and I might shoot you like a bullet to the other side of the island.
Sounds like an electrifying experience.
Oh, no. even come into play. That's a teleport. I can only do that with me.
Ah, I see.
I would have to literally use my kinetic ability to like fling you.
Right.
Uh,
So option.
And I also have translocation magic, but it too is pretty dodgy.
What I was originally thinking until somebody brought out that horrible little raft that wouldn't even let us survive if we were going to go in those waters without mines because of how
I think
choppy
you're being
things are
very
right now.
negative about a flotation
No,
device.
what I meant to say was it was a terrible idea.
I got that. Thank you.
Okay, I just wanted to be clear that I thought that idea was bad.
No, I'm sorry. Could you clarify one more time for me?
I didn't like it. I didn't like the idea. I thought it was a bad idea.
So it's your way or the waterway?
No, technically, I didn't come up with a better idea, so your idea is still the best idea on the table, despite the fact that it is bad.
Thank you. That's all I really wanted.
Right. No, you took the initiative, and I praise you for that.
Does that mean
And
my
it would have been a great idea if not for the weather that is artificially made. So here's what we need to do. I think, since there's really no way to do this safely, and we can't afford. I mean, if we set off one of these mines, it's gonna be a star followed by another star followed by another star, and we're gonna end up in the same situation we were in last time.
Right.
So, what if what kind of powers and voodoo do you got going on right now, Andy?
I mean, I am full me right now. So I've got translocation, but again, dodgy. Fighting, empathy, notice, gambling. I mean, I'd gamble on it. No, we won't gamble on a dinghy. Spy stuff. I do have a power use roll for Titan Force stuff, so we could potentially.
Oh wait, you have the Titan Force?
I do. We could potentially fly our asses out of here.
You know, you really could, like, because I can fly myself, no problem. But carrying the other people is going to be the issue for me because they'll, die from the inertia.
Right.
They're not protected like I am. Whereas
So
you could just lift them up with your super strength and fly, carrying them all like giant babies. Or maybe put them in the SUV and carry the SUV over and set it down on the street, and then we just drive away.
Admittedly, that is a better idea than what I was about to propose, which was to carry them in the dinghy so that we could marry our two ideas. But no, SUV is probably the way to go.
I mean, you could bring the dinghy to the road, but then we would need a car again.
I mean, this is true. We might potentially also use them for parachutes later, but,
The dinghies?
Yeah.
Like in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom?
Exactly like that.
See, now that's a great idea. Maybe let's bring the dinghy along. But in the meantime, why don't we throw it in the back of the SUV and take the SUV over?
Right. So what I'm hearing is this suddenly turned into a family vacation, and we're just bringing everything.
We're bringing everything in the SUV. You pick it up and carry it, and I'll make sure that physics doesn't make the SUV crush itself when you lift it. Cool?
I think that's a great idea.
Just one as a reminder, the airbags in the front of the SUV have gone off, and the front axle is smashed, so not really drivable once we get to land.
That's a fact.
But it is.
Drop down to the bottom and walk along.
Look, I was just trying to keep you from getting firemen carried through the air in the rain, but, absolutely. You take that route.
You just had mentioned having the car once we got to land, and I was pointing out it's not going to be very functional once we get it. It sounds like a great plan for getting us there.
Is there any paint on the cutter?
There just might be. You going to take a look around?
Yes.
Yeah, there is, in fact, there is a can of black spray paint on board the cutter.
So we could paint the dinghies black and go back to my... No, okay, that's a bad idea.
I think we just paint them and then take them.
paint and take. The
My only
other thing
concern
we could do with the SUV is we could set up like a scene, you know, where the SUV is broken down and we're hitchhiking along the side of the road, hoping that some friendly Boris will come and pick us up. I see
How
the
would
flaw
they
with
not
this plan.
see right through that? Hitchhiking on the side of the road at the penitentiary? Really?
I think if we look like Boris, I think it would probably work just fine. But since we don't look like Boris, it might be a problem.
Yeah, so the plan is to hide in the SUV near a street light, a stoplight specifically. Since all the Borises tend to follow the same pattern of traffic, they usually stop if at the intersections, if not at the actual red lights, because they don't care about traffic laws. But intersections are still a good place. They'll have to stop. We have to carjack them GTA style and get in that new Boris mobile that works just fine. As long as they're not a marked cop vehicle or done in front of a marked cop, we should avoid the star. We just gotta make it quick.
One question.
Just one?
GTA style means.
Sorry, Gramps.
We carjack them. They stop at the stoplight, you run up, open the door, punch them in the face, throw them out, and take over. It's classic.
Okay, just not familiar with that particular phrase.
Video games.
Got it.
Grand Theft Auto.
We could make a radio play about it if you'd like. That might help you grasp the concept better.
Oh no, then he'd just talk about all the soap he wants to buy afterwards.
Is that a theater nerd dig? Leave Mark alone.
That was I grew up in the time of radio dig, but yeah.
Night watches.
Orphan Annie, brought to you by Borax.
This week on Grand Theft Audio Radio, a car is stolen. Bum bum bum.
And that's the news.
Oh my.
So wait, I'm a bit confused now. So are we still? I was positing the possibility of getting the boats, spray paint them black so not as visible. We go across in the boats and just stealth our way in. Are you still talking about taking the SUV?
No. I'm talking about the SUV is a good thing to hide in because they don't look at you when you're in vehicles.
Amazingly.
The question I have is if we are going with the boats and paint them black and take the boats in, do we have enough navigational control to avoid getting tossed by a wave into the landmine? Because that would end our trip rather quickly.
I thought we were avoiding the boats altogether by flying over the mines.
Well, that's just considering the other option. So seems to me like avoiding the boats is the safer option.
All right. Well, I guess let's pack this SUV.
All right, all aboard the SUV. We're going to need first a power usage check from you, Andy James, to attempt to utilize the super strength and flying of the Titan Force.
And since the SUV is already broken, I'm not going to worry about holding it together.
Fair enough. All right. I'm going to beat that by 3.
All right, you grab hold of it. It takes some serious damage to the body and frame, getting underneath it and getting a good grip on it so that you don't lose it. This SUV probably isn't driving anywhere ever again, even if it didn't have a completely snapped axle. And you lift it and fly away from the patrol boat headed towards the shore. And from the vantage point that you have flying over the water, you can see that there are a whole lot of those mines around this island, pretty much as far as you can see in every given direction. Someone really doesn't want anyone getting anywhere near this particular island.
Makes
I
sense.
kind of like pluck a tire off and throw it at the mines.
Don't! I stopped the tire in midair.
Give me a power use roll.
I beat it by 8.
All right, you stop the tire and are now carrying the tire along through the air behind the SUV as it's flying.
Okay.
I set the
Goodbye,
tire down. You can't blow up the mines because that draws their attention, Andy James.
To the water! We're in the air!
Then they know we are here. Right now, they think we're on the other island.
Fine. Do you know how many avatars that have disadvantage impulsive I am bonded to right now?
Yes, that's why I'm being so understanding.
Thank you, I appreciate that. Because seriously,
Okay.
it's awesome.
I get it. I've got the same problem with egomaniacs and leaders.
Okay. Me not understand. How are we flying? And how you stop that fear?
Jets. We put some
Yeah,
jets on
I
the
have
bottom.
rocket boots.
Yeah, that's
Okay. You forgetting I'm pilot? These things you say don't make no sense.
Hmm.
okay.
Fasten your seatbelt, Hotwire, and Free Runner will show you how it all works. Buckle up.
Yes, that.
Yeah, yeah. You know, when we're no longer in danger.
And you fly.
Alternately, have you considered that the gas we inhaled earlier is finally affecting you?
Oh yeah, that air conditioner's been on circulate the whole time.
Yeah.
Hmm.
No, buddy, we've been driving this whole time. I don't know how I feel about gaslighting a friend, but yeah, no,
Yeah. Hey, Hotwire, let's just say that there are some things in life that can't just be explained away easily, and that maybe this is time to ask yourself, what do you believe in?
All right,
target
look.
acquired. You have the
Just
shot.
because, just because we're in the middle of a mission, I'm going to ignore this now. At the end, you have some explaining to do. You know the show, huh? Lucy, huh? You have explaining to do, Lucy, huh? You know that show, right?
Wah.
Nobody.
Target down.
Yes, Hotwire. Yes.
And you clear the half-mile of mines and choppy water, reaching the shore. There's some low-set buildings and docks, and dotting the entire shoreline, luckily not where you chose to come in, there are little surface-to-air missile sites set up, pointed outwards.
Oh,
Cool.
Mhm.
So
So I
let's
guess-
stay out of the air if we can help it. Fly casual.
yeah. I'm just gonna gently. We're just gonna sidle that on down to the ground.
All right. There's some nice older warehouse-looking buildings here, but unfortunately, they seem to be that kind that the doors on them don't go anywhere, and you can't get inside any of the buildings.
Right, they're just storefronts.
Yeah.
And
All
unlike
right.
the real world where we would just
Well,
break
we want to
windows,
hunker down and wait for a vehicle big enough to carry all of us.
could call an Uber Deluxe or whatever it is. No, sorry.
You've got to wait for a little bit before one comes down this sort of forlorn street along the waterfront. It seems to you that most of the traffic is headed towards the bridge that heads off of this island. And there is a rather constant stream of traffic leaving the island.
Let me
And
guess.
it's going really slow. They have to stop continuously and just going one car at a time. And it's all different kinds, from taxi cabs to SUVs to postal cars, you name it. It's in the line of vehicles slowly making their way off of the island.
Great.
At a quick pause, Helen, why are you so fancy? I don't know what it is you're drinking. You got a fancy glass drink or something fancy. Last week it had like a Chardonnay glass. Now you got this fancy looking thing. What are you drinking?
Hi, I am an alcoholic and I have sunk enough money into glassware to make it look like I have less of a problem than I do.
Okay.
It's called a flight, and it's classy. Okay.
No, my roommate's mother sent us these beautiful glasses with gold fish on them. They're lovely. We've broken 2 of them so far. Yeah.
Nice.
you know, I have to work really hard to not be completely trash all of the time. But most of the time, I'm a garbage person with some nice
Wow.
glasses.
This
A
took a
garbage
turn.
person that we love.
Well, you know, I got to get those pity points.
You
know,
may
when you
be
see
garbage.
raccoon,
We're
you're
all
like,
trash
man.
pandas for you.
Trash pandas and possums. Yep.
All right.
Like, you know, just like a little raccoon 10 feet from a dumpster fire.
Yeah, but seriously, girl, what's in the glass?
Oh, it's a gin and tonic.
Got it. Okay.
Uh-huh.
And
Sorry, what am I on? Whole journey. Whole unnecessary journey.
I don't know.
I would have
Chat,
totally believed if you
but
said just water. I'm like, okay, it was a fancy glass though. I was like, all right.
You have now turned chat into a "Why We Love Helen" kind of fest going on here.
Oh my god,
okay.
that's my love.
Calling yourself trash.
No, I wasn't calling myself. Sorry. I should say I admire the trash people of this world. I don't mean that to denigrate myself. I'm just categorizing myself.
Understood.
Uh-huh.
The vehicle that eventually comes by is a box truck, a brown box truck. It doesn't have the door on the passenger side. It's just an opening.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. I should have no problem just getting into that then.
Boris is sitting at the wheel. He's in a brown button-up shirt and brown shorts with brown shoes.
I love it.
Are we about to? Never mind. Who am I kidding? Are we about to check out his packages? This is
I have enough avatar in me where I really couldn't help but saying a quirky line as I fly through that window and punch him in the face. I say special delivery.
Give me a fighting check on that one.
But if he shits his pants, I am going to ask what Brown can do for him.
God.
Yeah, I like the direction Helen was going. Better.
Beat my fighting by 10.
You hit him,
Take that,
and
UPS Boris.
his head hits the glass on the driver's side window, and blood splatters on it, and he kind of just goes limp in the seat. You hit him a lot harder than you intended to.
No, I really didn't.
Oh boy.
I was trying to be merciful there, but no. You
Yeah, I
actually
was not.
really
I am
did
treating him like a video game NPC. He is just
He is
there
distinctly
to. He's just there sitting in my seat.
He is distinctly dead.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm pretty sure. Video game rules state I should be able to throw his body in the street and leave it there. So I'm going to assume that that's fine.
I mean,
Before
it's
you
gonna
even grab
disappear
hold of
after-
it, before you even grab hold of it, it starts to disappear.
Okay.
I wanted to see his packages.
The back is full of them.
That's what
Back
she
there.
said.
Y'all, I'm gonna be in the back checking out Christmas. So
There are stacks
to
of
Boris from Boris.
yes, they're in fact stacks of packages from Boris to Boris back there.
I'm just gonna start opening them.
They don't have anything in them.
No coins, no one-ups, nothing, no hearts.
They're just empty.
I mean,
Probably cash. You know.
oh my gosh, I understand because once you are Boris, you believe there is nothing in the world that you need
Except more Boris.
except more Boris. Because you
Nice.
have all you could ever want. That is pretty depressing.
As soon as the car is stopped, I turn the vehicle over to the vehicle driver.
Oh, excellent. Hotwire has got the
The
wheel.
master of vehicular combat himself, Mr. Hotwire.
And that is when you all hear the same voice in your comms. This Boris, where are you? Why are you not completing objectives and getting killed? Hello?
We're
Hello?
just spending our time on a side quest.
Side quest? I don't remember getting any side quest objectives. I have to check.
Hey man, you can at least try to sound like him, huh?
I see you and shoot you soon. Bye bye.
Bye. I pull up the map and click on the picture of the building we're headed to, which is what's it called?
Thunder Research.
Thunder Research.
Yep. And looking at the map, it's an awfully similar design to the Pentagon in the building shape.
Oh. All right, so we go to the Pentagon-looking building.
Back to Pentagon, or is
Yeah.
it hexagon, or
No, it is in fact a Pentagon.
Pizzoid? Or
That should be fine. Anyway, yeah, I click on that and wait for the GPS coordinates to put a little arrow on the road for us or whatever.
Yep, the arrow shows up on the road, and you begin driving along. Everyone give me notice checks.
yeah, okay. Cool. Now
So I beat it
time
by 11.
to You beat it by 11 too?
4.
4 and 4.
Oh, sorry. I did not beat it by 11. I beat it by 13.
Oh, damn.
Whatever. Shut up. God.
Making your way down these roads, passing vehicles all headed the other direction, that becomes a striking component to you that several minutes in, no vehicle is heading into Independence Island. They're all heading off of Independence Island.
So we're probably going to get clocked pretty quickly.
In fact, with your 13, you see the roadblock before you even get near it and have a chance to divert off into a side street instead of going forward onto the roadblock itself and running into more armed Borises.
You go by foot?
Yeah. How far away are we?
You got about another half mile or so. It's lucky that this is a video game world and these islands are rather small.
It's just,
Yeah.
it's not even going to be like a boot camp, just a stroll.
The streets are fairly empty. The other streets you saw on some of the other islands passing by had a lot of foot traffic, vehicle traffic, even, hot dog vendors and things going on the streets. So these ones are really empty other than people leaving on the bridge, headed out of the island or headed towards the bridge to leave the island.
Are they hurrying or just regular?
Nope, just a constant stream. Like it is a continuous line. Like when you're leaving a concert venue and everyone is lined up trying to go to the gate. Very much like that. They're like there's no space in between the cars. It is a continuous line of them slowly waiting their turn to move forward.
Any going in or just all going out?
All heading out.
Going out.
Every single one of them.
It's like
But
rats on a ship.
But not everyone here is going out because there's roadblocks that are being manned.
Yep, the roadblocks are being manned by individuals on foot who have only the roadways leading in are blocked. The roadways leading out that the cars are taking, that they're each filling up as a giant line of cars, completely unblocked.
So in a real world, in a normal world, not a video game-based world, this would be very concerning and suggest that there's some sort of major hazard evacuation going on. Is that?
I feel like in any world that that's the way that reads.
Are there also any kind of klaxons going off, sirens, strobes?
Not at all. But the most common thing you hear is the continuous sound of the helicopter rotor blades of the helicopters flying circles overhead.
I would like to turn on the radio and see what the Borises are up to currently.
Boris Radio! Oh, Boris, all the time! With my next special guest, Boris!
I'll turn to news.
Breaking news, no sign yet of Freedom Force. Keep eyes peeled. We will get them yet.
Okay, I'll turn it off. All right, yeah, right now they're sending everybody over that bridge because they think we're on that other island.
Oh.
That's good.
Can we steal some fuzzy hats and pretend to be Boris's and just keep I just imagine that everyone,
If
no matter how
Rosie was here, we would already be inside that building.
That is so true.
Also, if Aquamarine was here, or if Thomas was here. This is on, guys.
Yeah.
And on one of those side streets, getting out of the brown package delivery truck, you see your first Boris not in a car and not manning a roadblock. In fact, you see 3 of them. They're standing around a burn barrel that has a fire going in it. They're in shabby clothes with patches over them and passing a bottle in a paper bag between the 3 of them.
Boris
They're
even
all
makes
Borises.
Yep.
Oh, Boris.
So poor Boris. Why would he make hobo Borises?
Because all the NPCs are Borises. If they had hobos here, now they have hobo Borises.
In fact, that seems to be the topic of their conversation. I cannot believe Boris leave us out here on street. We are Boris too.
That's what I'm saying. You'd think he would take better care of
Treat us
himself.
like we're invisible. Invisible.
No complaint. At least we get vodka.
Oh, they have vodka.
But they're the only ground Borises that are in our way currently?
Yep, they're in this side street where you parked. And
What
not
color,
even paying,
what color is that barrel that they're standing around?
it is a red barrel. But they are
Okay.
not even paying any
You
attention to it.
can't red barrel the hobo Borises. They're
I
like
Your shooting test.
Isn't that going to draw attention?
We're making a break for it right now.
oh.
I was just
glad
about
we
to suggest that
democratically
I
came up with that decision.
go up on a roof and start scouting out a
That's a great idea.
doesn't
The
involve.
barrel explodes, sending 3
Yeah, that was a great
hobo
idea.
Borises hurling through the air. Their bodies impact nearby walls and then slowly disappear over a few seconds. And a single star comes up.
All right, Bruno
Now-
is going
Now
to.
take to the roof.
Yeah, so Bruno.
Everybody walks slowly like nothing happened, I guess.
Bruno kind of runs towards the wall, plants his foot in the wall, and leaps up as high as he can reach to grab onto the top of the lip of the roof, haul himself
Nice.
up on it. And
Give
then
me an
once
athletics test there, Bruno.
What's that?
Give me an athletics test there.
you got it. Action hero or athletics?
Action hero works on that one, actually.
Beat it by 5.
Beat by 5. You have a vertical that would impress a professional NBA player. Leap up through the air, grab the ledge of a window, and begin hauling yourself up floor by floor. And then reach
Granddad's
the
got hops.
Yep.
of the building within a few strides.
From my favorite game, Assassin's Creed Grandpa.
Once I reach the top of the roof, I'm going to use an action hero buff to shift to move myself on the sliders over from full pilot to 1 away from Avatar,
Excellent.
and let Night Watch take over some control. And Night Watch is going to immediately go into stealth mode and disappear into plain sight.
I'll take that stealth check.
On top of the roof. And that was a really bad roll, so I only made that by 3.
All right.
You made it, though, so that's great.
And Bruno/Nightwatch is up on the roof of a nearby building and gone in the span of a couple of seconds after that explosion. What about the rest of you?
We should follow suit. You've got that grapply gun thing.
Ew.
Hotwire, can you scale a building okay? Without a vehicle?
Is this my turn to act?
It could be, depending upon what your plan is.
Well, I think right now my hot wireness is at a lower effectiveness, so I'm going to spend 2 meta points and move over to the middle.
All right, 2 meta points spent, and you are in the middle with access to both sheets.
Feels good to take control of this guy now, more or less.
Welcome back.
All right. So we're about to get this in.
Yeah, we need to go up. Can you get up?
Yeah, I can get up. I do want to know if is anything about this building that I can observe as far as frequencies, communication frequencies, any kind of electronic signals, anything like that, where I can kind of figure out alarm systems, anything
Not
like
the
that.
building itself, but in opening yourself to those frequencies, there are response teams en route to the sound of the explosion on this side street, and more have been dispatched, and helicopters have been advised to keep a lookout while ground patrols move on foot.
All right, time to get moving then. All right, so I'm on my way up.
All right, I'll take an athletics test from you.
Not a problem, but I'm rolling 12s. But I still should be able to beat it by 7.
All right, not as an impressive hop as Bruno, but still more so. It was really impressive. And on top of that, with your incredible enhanced cybernetic strength, you push some of the bricks inwards and make handholds where there were not handholds on the side of this building, making your way to the roof.
Very good.
And then I'm going to need a shooting test followed by an acrobatics test from Free Runner for using that grapple gun and propelling yourself upward.
Yep. All right.
She can just shoot up at me and I'll grab it and pull her up.
Okay, I'm going to beat shooting by words by 9, and athletics by not 9, but instead by 5.
And you are able to get yourself up on that roof in a rather spectacular fashion, launching up the grapple and then soaring past the climbing John Stone by the retractable grapple, doing a wonderful flip and then landing on your feet in the center of the roof. And Bruno/Nightwatch is nowhere to be seen. And I will take an athletics test or a power usage test, depending upon your method of transport there, Crash.
I'm gonna bounce between buildings up the wall.
Yeah, I'm going to go with power usage on that one then.
I think it's probably the best way to go. It's really a combination of the two, but they're about the same score. So, beat it by 8.
Beat it by 8.
Or
And
10,
like,
depending on which I did.
and like a pinball, you bounce between the two of them and land on the roof. And not a moment before, a patrol vehicle pulls down the side street, and 2 garbed Borises with rifles hop out of the patrol vehicle and begin searching the alleyway below.
Did you just bork your way to this roof?
Well, I'm not going to say I didn't get the idea from them, but not technically, no.
Wait, are you bonded to a Bork?
I'd rather not talk about it.
That's so borking adorable. Should we have a best friends hug? A little moment. Yes!
You might very well be bonded to a Bork.
Oh,
You're on the roof,
It's so warm now.
and you can hear the Borises searching the streets and alleys below. A helicopter is beginning to come in close overhead to take a look from above you. What are you going to do?
I'm going to hide from the helicopter.
Right?
So is there surveillance visual or instrumental?
Visual.
All right,
Rather
so we're
low-tech,
looking
I'll
for like some
think.
tarps, some capes woven by the elves at Lothlorien.
If you're going to attempt to hide, give me those stealth checks.
Oh yeah, we have those, huh?
Yep.
Yep. All right.
While the rest of them are attempting to hide, I'm going to head for the edges of the roof and see if I can get a layout of the land to
Stealth by
craft and map a route that we can get across to the other side of the barricade and closer to the Pentagon.
Nice. Good plan. What are the other stealth checks going on?
I beat him
13.
by 2.
Beat yours by 2. Beat it by 13.
Yep.
Wow. Well, what
So
about you, Hotwire
anybody?
/ Johnstone?
I did a stealth check, beat it by 1.
Beat it by 1. All right. So we have 4 successes. The helicopter comes in
Just
low
do
as you
wrecking
guys
ball.
press yourself around different parts of the building, does a circle, and then moves away to the next building and begins doing a circle there. And then the next building, seemingly not having detected you. For
2
yourself.
minutes later, the star is gone.
For yourself, up there, Night Watch / Bruno, you have a decent view. You think you could go building to building for at least a quarter mile here before you might have to come down if people are willing to make some decent jumps from rooftop to rooftop.
Well, and we just had John Stone come out of full avatar now, so he has access to his powers as well.
That's correct.
So I think that's probably a reasonable possibility, and so I relay this concept to the rest of the team in as few words as possible.
Wait a minute, we're about a half mile away, you said?
Yep.
Awesome.
You can cover about half that distance by rooftops right here.
Great, let's do it.
Right, but I can also start tagging people in the building from here since I'm only a half mile away.
Yeah, that Pentagon building you can see from here is surrounded by defenses, sandbags, and barricades on all sides. And from up here, you have a great view. There is a continuous stream of vehicles coming out of a garage-like entrance. Brown box trucks, taxi cabs, police cars, regular cars, SUVs, military vehicles. No rhyme or reason, but those are all joining in that line, all headed off the island. And after a couple of minutes of watching, it dawns on you that there is no feasible way for that many vehicles to be inside of that building.
That's our spawn point. Or it's their spawn point. I have the shot.
Care to elaborate?
This is it. This is the place we need to be.
Okay, great. We
cover about a half mile of rooftops.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna cover you from here.
Oh, all right.
All right, for my 3 people following on Night Watch's proposed routes, I'm going to need athletics tests for the rooftop to rooftop travel.
Okay.
Not a problem.
Uh-huh. I'm going to beat that by 12.
Those jumps are all incredibly easy for you.
I'm like Spider-Manning it with a grappling hook.
Yeah, you think there's a couple of them? You could have just skipped a building and like gone every other.
Oh, sure.
Interesting. So since I am in the middle, I'm still running 12s. Just
Yep, but you can choose from either sheet which one to use the athletics on.
yeah, and I just made it.
Okay. It's a little more difficult for you, but you are able to hop from building to building. You're having a difficult time keeping up with free runner / Andy James there. She can really move.
And I'm going to use my Patreon +4 so that I beat it by 1.
Okay. Hey, good enough. And you also leap from building to building, kind of keeping neck and neck with John Stone / Hotwire there. But man, Andy James can move. She's waiting for all of you when you get to the end of that quarter mile of covering pathway.
Not just the fire dance moves. I can also jump off of buildings.
I don't have you in my scope right now. I'm watching other things.
You are pretty sure he's not telling the truth on that one.
I am pretty sure he's not telling the truth on this.
What? Superpowers are hot. That's not my fault. I didn't do that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were considering taking me out because my dance moves are so cool.
No, you just jumped over 2 buildings, and that was literally the coolest thing I've ever seen.
Indeed.
On my granddaughter.
I admit that deep down, I am 12.
Fair enough. And you covered that quarter mile fairly easily that way, and don't seem to have drawn too much attention. And about the time you reach the end of that quarter mile of rooftops, that 1 star has disappeared.
Nice. So are we at the building?
No, you are still a quarter mile from it, but you are as close as you can get going from rooftop to rooftop. There is about 200 yards plus in every direction around the building that is just green grass and hedges and set up sandbags with troops and weaponry or surface-to-air missile sites and even parked tanks. There is a lot of defenses forming a perimeter around this building.
All right, so they got 200 yards that they're basically going to have to cover between there and the building that is all just open ground, aka kill zone.
Yeah.
Is that what I'm hearing?
Yep, there's a 200-yard kill zone around the building.
All right, and let's go around and see if that's where we want to enter. I assume it probably is. We're probably going to want to go in where those cars are coming out. That's going to be our most direct route to the spawn point.
I mean, it'll be the most direct, but
Yeah, are there other ways to get
we
in?
can scale walls pretty easily here.
That's
Give
true.
me notice checks. The 3 of you are close to the building, and in fact, because of the nature of your optics and using the scope, you can give me that notice check too.
Any minuses?
Nope.
Yay, no range penalties.
I'm gonna beat that by 14.
Oh.
I do not know what this
Man.
rolling situation is today, but I'm not gonna fight it.
I beat it by 6.
I can't even beat it by 14, and I only have a shot to beat it by 12 because I'm in my avatar. Like, wow.
It's pretty apparent to you, Andy James, that's got to be the only way in or out of this building. All the other doorways that you can see on it have that telltale sign of doors that don't actually go anywhere.
Uh-huh.
Which
Yes.
means that blowing a hole in the roof and dropping in is not going to be an option. You have a very high likelihood of just jumping into empty space since the inside of the building probably doesn't match. It's like a loading area.
I see. All right.
I think that might be your best point of entry, honestly.
So are we going to like bumble our way through, just get ourselves in the stream of people and accidentally trip backward till we make it through?
They're going to notice you almost immediately. The trick is you want to get in there as fast as you can.
Can we get it? Can we steal the
Well, you
vehicle?
know what I got?
I suggest you
I got a little
do.
bit of 500 mile per hour flight. So
That's great for you, but you got to help me cover the other 2 so we can make sure everyone gets in.
oh sure, this is our fireman carry moment.
I can stay hidden.
Or I could put them in the dinghy. I have one in my pocket.
Nightwatch says he can stay hidden. He thinks he can stealth in.
I think Nightwatch can stealth in. I think you maybe want to do actually your avatar specialty, which is jumping, dodging, and going really fast. We get Hotwire to steal a vehicle,
Or can John Stone fly in?
or can John Stone fly in? I don't know.
I cannot fly.
He's strong enough where he could throw himself.
I can attempt to hide from. I know something I can try to do. Never done it before, but I can try it.
What is it?
Well, so I'm attuned to different kind of energy signatures and frequencies around me. I could try to modulate my static charge into kind of like a electromagnetic void, to where if some kind of surveillance is pointed at me, I just come back as a nothing?
You want to scramble yourself electronically, counting on their senses to be more digital than not. Since they're NPCs and not real people, that might be a possibility.
That is highly creative.
I like it. And you just, run there then to that entrance, and I'll do my job, which is to make sure none of you get stopped going in.
If you could do it now, because I hear a train going by, so it'll mask our sound.
In fact, there is a train going by, so it's about the perfect time to
Great.
do it. We're going to do
Then
this in order of speed. So the fastest one is going to be Andy James attempting to use the free runner skills to go in. So we're going to start with you. We're going to make a series of athletics and acrobatics tests, but let's start with the first one.
Athletics?
And I'm using all my actions to assist anybody who needs, so let me know.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to beat that by 11.
I'll take a second one. As you make it past the first several vehicles, there is an immediate 5-star response as Andy James is spotted.
Oh,
Well, they
not
spotted
as
her.
fast as I thought. All right.
That's what we expected. This is fine. This is the end boss. They're going to get immediate 5 stars anyway.
Fair enough. All right. I'm going to beat that by 4.
And then I'll take one more for your last one as you reach that garage door.
Oh, I'm going to beat it by 14.
All right, you make it there, and we'll get back to you in 1 second as we cover the other two and what they were doing in that time period. As you are just simply walking and using this static charge and attempting to modulate your frequency so that these sensors won't pick you up, the AI sensors, I'm going to have you use advanced technology for that one.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Sure Shot, can we get a distraction on the other side from where Hotwire and I are headed?
Oh, yeah, no problem. This Pentagon building isn't super tall. I can just shoot a red barrel on the other side of the block.
That's correct. So, yep, I'm going to need advanced technology on your part.
Beat it by 6.
Beat it by 6. You start walking, and you have that moment where you're just not sure if it's going to work or not as you pass by the first vehicle, and the Boris, who's a taxi cab driver in that one, doesn't even turn his head. And then your confidence grows as you walk past a military-style Jeep that is loaded with Boris, and none of them even spare you a glance. And closer you can get. And then you see the response for Andy James and several of the Borises pointing and shouting. And then the 5 stars come up. But by then she has reached the garage door. And then you just keep walking and walking and walk your way right into that open garage door. Past everyone as though you're not even there.
Okay, John Stone, I take it back. That was the coolest thing I've ever seen.
And
I
on
can't believe that worked. To me,
on
it
the
just looked like you walked in.
Yep.
to everyone else, it looked like he walked in with electricity going around him the entire time.
And Night Watch, you're going to have to let me know when you get in since I can't see you.
That's correct. I'll take a stealth check on your part, Night Watch.
Beat it by 12.
The first gap or so, you go from vehicle to vehicle on the undercarriage until some of them get too low. Then you creep by the doorways, some of them mere inches from the drivers, stepping behind a wheel well, moving behind a trunk at just the last possible moment to be detected, weaving in and out. And still this whole time, even though he has a great vantage point, at no time does Sure Shot even see you moving from vehicle to vehicle to vehicle.
I'm also not cheating by turning on thermal vision, just so we're clear. Like, I'm giving this guy the ninja benefit of the doubt here.
And then you also reach said garage door.
All right, now watch. I take it back. That was the coolest thing I've never seen.
I fully believe that Night Watch is has a Zen master ability to lower his body temperature. I believe that.
I do too.
And slow his heart rate, Even if somebody did see him, they would just assume he was dead. I don't know.
He can fake death.
They do say he is a master ninja. And what about yourself, Crash? How are you going to get there, if you're going to get there at all? I'm curious.
Oh, right when John Stone gets to the entrance, I say Shazam. and I make sure that I land inside his electrical field.
Ooh, really?
Because I'm not fucking around today.
About the point that you have Shazammed is when the first part of the response from that 5 stars shows up, and there are a half dozen helicopters circling right where you just were on that roof a moment ago, and then armored vehicles pulling up to the line of cars. The tanks that have been parked around the building are driving over to the spot where Andy James was a few moments ago. And with that, we're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back with more Masters of the Metaverse.
See you soon.
It's raining outside.
I don't see sunny or rainy. They're all just days to me.
Okay, but clearly it's raining.
Is it? I mean, yes, obviously it is, but just to play devil's advocate for a moment, is it really?
Yes, it is. Look outside.
So you want it to be sunny all the time? Is that what you want? You want constant sunshine. Have you ever heard of a drought?
No, that's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying that it's raining.
Look, don't be such a hater. All days matter.
Dude, just look outside.
You know, my cousin was caught in a snowstorm last year. Where was the outrage then?
I'm just pointing out.
It rains so much more in India. You have to deal with so much less weather in this part of the world. But I don't know why you're complaining. True, it was raining, but it's completely stopped now. Ancient history. Get over yourself. I studied meteorology in high school, and the term is actually precipitation. The climate changes are clearly part of a natural cycle that has nothing to do with us. So rain should be underrepresented. Maybe rain just writes better science fiction. This kind of negativity just propagates the conservative agenda. People who wear raincoats anyway, right? F you. You ignorant Did you back and your or were you just that way? I hope you get rained on. That'll teach you a lesson. To push this dry-hating cumulonimbus bull.
I think we've had a little misunderstanding. Maybe we should go outside, take a walk. You can get some fresh air.
In the rain?
We get the final insert here and
All
then
right.
break for second meal.
All right. Warm pocket cheese. I'm in. All right.
Okay, so are you familiar with how to fondle a nipple?
Nick,
Yes.
Nick, I'm gonna shoot Christian's face. Shooting Christian's face.
Oh, come on.
No, you're gone.
All right. So apparently
We're
this
gonna
is
make a
just
movie.
like handling a nipple.
Okay.
So more pinch release than
isn't.
I'm going to pinch the
perfect. Okay,
nipple.
I'll pull focus now.
Work.
I need the back of your head, sir, and the front of yours.
It works at night.
Do you know? No, it's usually Ben that does.
Okay, the sound of silence, because he's off camera and not talking, and Armageddon on that. Come on,
Still a double.
whatever. Yes, I can do this.
Thanks.
No, you have to help.
Oh, what do I need
Just
to
take
do?
this here, and then
We'll
we're.
start on Leo's face before we go down. Get out.
Wow. Really? Huh. We gonna make a movie?
How does this work?
I don't know.
This is awesome.
I'm usually over there.
Okay. What happens if I twist this?
Hey, want to tune my mandolin?
Oh, come
on! Come on!
What is wrong with you?
Jeez, his words.
Sure.
What? What are you doing here?
Red card.
That is too big.
Ben's mom. Come on.
What?
Ben's mom is off limits.
What I've heard.
Oh, get out. Out. Hey. What? Oh, really? Wait. Why am I even in here? You're filling in for Andy. Okay. I don't even have to go. I just... Wait. Here you go. Are you serious? Seriously? Okay.
And we are back with more Masters of the Metaverse here on the Zombie Orpheus Entertainment channel on Twitch. When we just left off, our heroes had spent so much time painstakingly infiltrating Independence Island, bypassing all of the security measures, even stealing a box truck and blowing up some poor hobo versions of Boris on their way in. And then the most spectacular was their methods of entry, from stealth like a ninja to creating an electric field to mask themselves from the AI intelligence to just straight, sheer, balls out parkour mastery. They have all found a way out. And of course, that's right where we're going back to, is just as you've made it inside of this giant garage door, there is a line of vehicles coming out of it that is stretching into this facility. Only about 20 vehicles deep, as it were. But as you've arrived, the line has moved forward a car, and as it moves forward a car, a vehicle simply appears out of thin air. And a Boris waiting nearby, who is garbed appropriately for said vehicle, climbs into the driver's seat of that vehicle. There's a line of Borises behind him, going back through a doorway. And on the areas around this driveway path, there are more Boris troops armed in tactical body armor and with various weapons. And they seem none too pleased at the arrival of 4 intruders. So let's roll some initiative.
Uh-oh. Intruders.
Freedom Force!
My God, guys, I think there are some intruders here. Quick, go find them. Oh, no! Oh, no!
What did you do?
I rolled a 6!
Nice. So you add, what, 6 to that?
Yep.
All right.
Ray picked me up in 12, yo.
Okay.
16.
16 for the badass Johnstone. Oh. There was something there.
Yeah.
There was. I heard it.
I heard it too.
20 for me.
Let me correct myself. 15. 15.
15.
Aaron Williams, that was my first instinct when I saw how low I had rolled, to be like, can I roll a demon die? And then I realized, wrong system.
I didn't roll too much better. I rolled a 9, so I got a total of 19.
Wow. And I go first for the first time since I'm not really sure how long. I swear we got something added to the store there. I just didn't catch what it was.
I'm trying to find out.
Leo's checking on it. We'll find out.
Okay. Well, meanwhile, it probably won't affect me shooting at you very much, so I'm going to be using this opportunity. Unfortunately for 2 of you, they still are unable to see through Johnstone's generated electric field that Crash has teleported into. So all of the fire is going to be directed at Andy James. Night Watch is still stealth, so all the fire is going to be directed at Andy James.
I'm just gonna, like, flex at it.
That might help for a lot of it, but not for all of it. First, we're going to start with some automatics weapons fire directed at Andy James, which, ooh.
Uh-oh. She took her hair down. She's getting serious.
I did. I'm getting serious.
Rapunzel.
I know it's
what is Andy James's dodge bonus? I know it's extreme, but what is it
8.
exactly? 8. Yeah. You dance through a hail of gunfire from the first few enemies to open fire. Only one of them manages to hit you, but it is incapable of piercing the flesh of your Titan Force reinforced skin.
Those are your dodge moves?
Yep.
Yep. After
There's
the
like a little
hail of
Pocahontas
machine gun fire, an RPG round strikes you directly in the chest. And this is going to do, because I just rolled 2 1s, it's going to be a critical success even against your 8 dodge bonus.
Nice.
I am going to hit you for 150 damage, which is going to get through that armor of yours.
shit.
Yep. So that one hurts and puts you through a car, into a wall, and then over a railing, and then into another wall.
150.
Hit it with your best shot.
And that
Yeah,
was
they
it.
most
ladies and gentlemen.
definitely did.
Great.
So I know you absorbed a fair amount of that, but I think some of it came through.
Yeah, no, I lost 50 points on that.
Good.
Yeah, you were not expecting that direct hit, nor were you expecting it to hit that hard. You honestly can't recall the last time you've ever been hit that hard. The world is kind of spinning.
It was me.
Yeah, it was you. It was definitely you.
And the world is kind of spinning from that impact. And we are going to go to Nightwatch / Bruno next to Stealth.
Can you describe the layout of where everybody is, including the person that just shot my granddaughter?
It is kind of a ramp, like leading up to the surface level that you're at the doorway on. So, like, everything seems to be below ground. Most of it is kind of like a large underground parking garage-like space, except the vehicles are appearing out of nowhere, and a line of Boris's dressed for whatever the vehicle is that is appearing hops into said vehicle. Flanking both sides of this driveway of the parking garage are teams of tactically armed Boris soldiers in full uniforms with body armor, helmets, and the works. They're geared up a little better than most of the soldiers you've run across so far. There are 18 total soldiers.
Okay, so we need to take out those 18 soldiers and then go past where the cars are into the garage to enter the building. Is that the idea?
From here, it seems the only other way through is the doorway that the line of Boris are coming out of, that are climbing into the vehicles. The vehicles are just appearing out of thin air.
Okay.
But there's a line of Boris coming from a single open doorway, lined all the way up to it, all in different outfits. From
Rocket fire come from?
The right-hand team has an RPG, which, just hit your granddaughter and launched her across the room and into a wall. And she's definitely bleeding.
Okay, so first thing is using hide in plain sight and silent takedown. Nightwatch is going to pop up behind the Boris that has the rocket launcher with his garrote and cut his throat, choke him.
Oh, yeah, that'll do it.
Then take the rocket launcher, use my action hero buff to go full back to Bruno, and sling the rocket launcher over my shoulder as I activate Lothar's elemental control and create a massive tornado to blow away all of the Borises in all directions.
Well, let's start at the beginning of that and give me the fighting test for the garrote. That's some intense stuff.
Beat that by 6.
Beat that by 6. Yes, most definitely your silent takedown ability applies, and you disable the RPG-wielding Boris in a matter of moments, taking his RPG from him, spending that buff, and now moving yourself on the slider.
And elemental magic, I beat by 5.
Beat by 5. And the group of Boris soldiers on that side of the driveway, you throw around the room. Some of them into some of the cars that are waiting to leave the garage, some into the walls, and one poor unfortunate Boris goes straight up into the ceiling.
Those poor unfortunate Boris.
That,
Sad. All the same.
after that,
Hashtag MetaPoint. This place is not good. Thunder Laboratories, the source of all Borii. Thunder Laboratories in a world definitively damaged by the actions of Thaddeus Thunder Jackson. I wonder where Hair General is anyway.
Interesting. And we'll go to Crash next.
Hey, all right. Let's see. What are the Borises? Are the cars like? Are they spawning like in the middle of the room?
They're spawning like at the base of the driveway where the line of Borises are coming out of the doorway by.
So we definitely want to just get down past that ramp at some point. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
That would seem to be the case.
All right. Thank you. I'm going to start taking out Boris's before they get into their cars.
All right.
Very good.
There is a line.
To see if the spawning continues, even if the car doesn't move.
Good plan.
So I'll take a shot.
Are we going to be taking multiple shots?
I am just going to be if there's only if there's two Borises next to or in vehicles that haven't moved yet, I'll take 2 shots. Otherwise, just 1.
Give me 2 shots.
Done and done. First one, I beat by, let's see, beat by 13. Second one, I beat by 6.
The first shot, the Boris's head explodes on impact from the round. It is horrific, just absolutely horrific. And the second one, dead center mass, and before their corpses can even hit the ground, they sort of fade out into nothing. 2 dead Boris, and that vehicle still sits empty and doesn't move forward. So another vehicle does not spawn.
Excellent.
Excellent.
But the line of Boris is waiting behind, shuffles forward, and takes their place, as though the other 2 weren't even shot. They don't have any real reaction to it at all. They just move forward in the line.
Do their outfits change if they step near a vehicle that they weren't normally assigned to?
At this point, you do notice something interesting. As those 2 Borises move forward, the line going all the way back to the door moves forward. And the 2 Borises who are coming out of the doorway are in Hawaiian patterned shirts, and they're putting on other clothes over their Hawaiian patterned shirts, like taxi driver stuff or delivery driver stuff or cop uniforms. And so yeah, they're putting other things over their Hawaiian shirts.
Well, there's a bingo for us.
Ooh, that is a bingo.
And John Stone, our resident badass, it's on to you.
Well, actually, there's a lot of badasses in this group right here. How badly hurt is Andy?
Well, you've never seen anybody take a hit from an RPG and be fine.
Or survive.
Granted, generally getting hit by an RPG is instantaneous death, and the fact that it just launched her across the room and she's already getting up is, well, maybe a conversation you might want to have with Andy James at some point.
Okay, fair enough. As long as she's getting up. All right, so how many enemy combatants are there?
There are still 17 total remaining, but 8 of them have been launched around the room by a tornado that was created by Bruno. 9 of them have been completely untouched and are probably going to immediately open fire again as soon as they're given a chance.
Okay, and where are they relative to me? They're just across the room, or they're near me?
They're near the base of the ramp where these cars are spawning. They're to the left-hand side of the ramp. Bruno is on the right-hand side where he created a tornado.
These cars, what kind of cars are they?
There's a taxi cab, a police car, a delivery truck, a pizza delivery car, and a regular 4-door sedan.
Okay, fair enough. So, I'm going to use a meta point to move over even closer to John Stone.
All right, 1 meta point spent and moving 1 step closer to John Stone.
Wait, so am I fully stoned yet, or am I still 1 away?
You are 1 away from John Stone, if I'm reading this correctly.
So I'm going to spend my my badass to move another
Oh, then don't spend the meta point. Save the meta point and just spend the badass and put yourself all the way over. Because if you spend your buff to move, you can put yourself anywhere on the slider. You don't just move one.
Ew.
So yeah, return that meta point to the store and instead spend the badass and put yourself in full John Stone.
All right, so I'm all stoned up. I'm all stoned up.
Nope.
And John Stone just bonded himself an avatar.
Heyo.
That is the first one. It is, isn't it?
Yep, that's John Stone's first bonded avatar.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to understand that later on. All right, so
I'll talk about it after the show. I'll explain it.
so I'm going to so that means I have two actions. So first step is I'm going to, and I forget how I did this last time. I did this once before. I forgot how, but I was able to cycle through a whole bunch of sonic frequencies and emit one. The purpose being to disorient the remaining Borises.
I do recall you doing this once in a different set of circumstances. Start with an advanced technology roll to pull this off.
Ooh, I can roll my 8s now. Hey!
Yep, you're on 8s. Going to give me an advanced technology to find a signal to use for this.
Beat it by 3.
Beat it by 3, and then give me an advanced technology roll for how effective it is at getting these Borises.
Beat it by 5.
Beat it by 5. All right, that is going to mean all of the Borises are going to be acting with a -3 penalty to any skill checks, action tests, ability tests, whatever it is they're attempting to do, due to these sonic disruption and electrical disruption supplied by John Stone. They're going to be a little bit off.
Fantastic. Now for my next trick, I'm going to grab the sedan and throw it at them.
All right, go ahead and give me an athletics test for that one, using some of that John Stone super strength.
Beat it by 7.
You throw the four-door sedan through the air. It spins a couple of times, and then trunk first crashes into the group of 9 currently unaffected so far Boris, who are all going to be at a -3 on their body tests to avoid the impact. And because of that -3 penalty, only 3 of the 9 are able to hit the ground or duck behind something or dash away a few steps before the car lands, and completely crushes 6 of them against the far wall in a gross splatter, which then, of course, their corpses immediately fade, dropping firearms where they just were. And that is going to put us to Andy James at a 2, getting up off the ground, blood dripping from her nose.
There we go. And that's mostly just because I'm angry.
Yeah.
All right. So there are three guys left?
3 on that side. The 9 that were on the side of the RPG are not terribly injured, but they have been launched around the room. They're not grouped up at all anymore. They were tornadoed.
That's right. That's right. All right. I'm gonna pull a dumb move from the Hobbit, and I think I'm just gonna jump from dude to dude on their heads, because why not?
Dude jumping.
Dude jumping, yeah.
That's old school Crash Jackson. I love it.
Not the first time this has happened on Metaverse.
Episode 2, I think.
Yep.
The greatest itch that I have is I want to run down the line of Tom's Boris's and see where they're all coming from. But I guess we should probably wrap up what's at hand.
All right, well, you've got those 3 to affect, so let's give me your first athletics test for the first one.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna beat that by 14.
Oh, it is a brutal leap, and you can feel the bones snap as your feet impact that first Boris. And before he hits the ground, his corpse fades and the gun drops at his feet. But you're already leaping through the air towards the next one. Do you have multiple attacks, Andy James?
I don't think that I do, actually. I used to, but not anymore.
But then you're at a -2 on this athletics test.
Okay.
But you still have a pretty impressive athletics score, so.
I'm gonna hit that one dead on.
Well, they lose their dodge bonus because John Stone is distracting them with that audio frequency. So that is, in fact, going to hit. And another Boris goes down. And then give me a third one at a -4.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to beat that one by 16. Or, sorry, -4. I'm going to beat it by 12.
His head bursts like a melon on impact of the third one. And again, fades away before you even hit the ground after jumping from all 3 of those. Nicely done, Andy James, and we will go back to the top of the order. There are still 8 hostile armed Borises. However, they have all been thrown around the room by the tornado effect from Bruno, and then have been hurt with the audio frequency and electronic jamming by John Stone. So their fire is going to be very erratic and heavily penalized.
I think that there is someone out there that has a level of control I haven't been able to see. But there are references to a James and I am curious. Mr. James? Can I have a loot box? #hackattack.
Oh, thank you, Chad. All right, so the firing commences, and with horrific penalties, the majority of the rounds are simply flying through the air or across the roof or into the parked vehicles and not getting anywhere near their targets. In fact, the only one who comes anywhere close is I'm going to have a success by 4 against yourself, Bruno. Is your dodge bonus worse than 4?
No, 6.
All right, then you easily dodge that burst of machine gun fire, and that puts us back to you, Bruno, at our next initiative with 8 hostile enemies remaining, and you have an RPG.
Where are the 8 hostiles located in relation to us?
You have scattered them around the room with your tornado power, so they are all over the place.
Okay.
All of them are at least slightly injured.
When you say around the room, we're still kind of outdoors, right?
No, you're inside of this parking garage area at this point.
Oh, okay.
It's a garage area.
Yeah.
I had assumed it was outside as well.
Oh, no. It is inside and quite substantial. It really doesn't match the exterior at all.
The curtains don't match the drapes? Wait.
Mm-mm.
Don't worry about it. I didn't say anything.
Can you explain that?
Well, you know, when you have curtains and drapes and you're like, man, I am excessively fancy.
Then your windows do a very special kind of hug.
You are fancy.
I'm just saying, you know, because most people ask about the carpet at that point, and I'm just trying to figure out if you have curtains or drapes, so... Yep,
Fair
that's
enough.
all.
Okay.
If you're doing it right, you've got both.
Oh my. Just flap it in the wind?
So what's happening, Bruno?
I have no idea.
Still your turn.
Yeah, right. So parking garage.
Yes.
So is this a concrete structure?
Yeah, a video game concrete structure.
Rock, earth.
It looks like it's made of concrete. Looks to you.
So we're gonna kind of pissed right now, so we're going to tap into Lothar a little bit more, and the ceiling above the area where all these guys have been scattered, we're going to bring down on top of them and attempt to drop enough ceiling to take as many of them out as possible.
Nice.
And crush them.
Bringing down the house. Okay, give me one of those elemental magic rolls there.
Watch out.
We beat it by one. But I beat
it by one. It is a little bit more difficult affecting this video game environment than a natural environment. And it's a little slow on breaking the roof apart. So most of them are able to run out of the way or dodge behind something. But one of these poor Boris bastards is not able to. And he is just absolutely splattered by falling ceiling. You can't even see if a corpse disappears after impact because, well, the rock concrete piece that came for it covers any area that he would have been at, including his firearm. He's just gone.
So these guys kind of dove away from us, away from where I'm dropping the ceiling, right?
Yes.
So for my second attack, I'm going to take that RPG and fire one directly over the largest remaining group of guys that have been diving up the way and try and drop the ceiling more directly.
All right.
And I had a really bad roll, but that's shooting, so I still beat that one by 5.
Still beat it by 5. The ceiling explodes overhead. And from the explosion, 2 of them are killed immediately, and then the falling rocks crush 3 more, leaving only 2 armed Borises defending this area of the complex as we go to Crash Jackson.
I've decided that those rocks falling on those guys is not nearly enough rock falling, so I am not going to let the rocks stop falling. They're just gonna bounce all around the room.
So you
Bouncing
borked
rocks.
yourself earlier, and now you're borking rocks?
Yeah, I'm borking all the rocks.
Give me a power use roll.
They're going to hit that ground, and they're going to get 0 friction and then 100% return on investment of the force they just let out. So
Great.
we're just going to turn this into a parking garage pinball of doom.
So you're just breaking physics all over the place.
I am physics.
He's not wrong.
11! So beat it by 7.
Beat it by 7. You begin bouncing these rocks around the room, and at first, those 2 remaining Boris make a great attempt at avoiding things, but as cars are smashed and the Borises in the line are smashed, these 2 poor guys just are on the wrong spot at the wrong time and get splattered.
Splat.
And you can hear more approaching from outside, but for the moment, you are clear of combat and clear of initiative. There are no surviving Borises in this room. All of them that were in the line have been crushed by bouncing rocks. All of them that were armed and defending the area have been killed as well. And then 2 more Borises in Hawaiian shirts, putting on different outfits, start walking out of the door.
Time to play Whack-'em, Boris.
Can we just go through that door?
Yeah, nothing's stopping you right now.
Let's do it.
Those 2 Borises certainly aren't even trying. They're just kind of standing there as though they're waiting.
And
like in a
this
queue.
is the problem with Borises. Am I right? They're not even trying.
Well, you know, being from a communist-controlled country, they're used to standing in lines, so that's just kind of their thing. Just like, hey, I'm in their line.
You transition from this room into another room, which again doesn't really match the exterior of the building. It's white painted walls, white painted floors. There's some columns going through it. There is a line of Borises coming from the far end of the room, which again, there's another doorway they're coming through. All of the Borises in this room, up to about the 3/4 of the way across, are still in Hawaiian shirts. And then there's a little kiosk booth that they're passing by that different clothes are appearing on that they grab off and start putting on over their Hawaiian shirts. There is a Boris standing at that kiosk, handing them their different clothes as they are going by.
None of them are armed, right?
So it's Tom's and Boris clothing.
Boris.
No, they're Boris's. And at that, you see the first, Boris enters this room from the far side, joining the line of Borises in Hawaiian shirts. And as he enters the room, he speaks, "Boris is here to serve."
Oh no.
Well, that's the room we need to go in.
I guess so.
Can I shoot the one handing the stuff out?
Absolutely, you can. Go ahead and give me a shooting test.
I'm going to be making a shooting test too because there's something I really want to try.
All right, give me that shooting test as well.
I'll wait to Sean to get finished.
Oh.
John,
Okay, I beat that by 15.
Oh, that poor Boris.
Yeah, that Boris is a mist and a memory in less than a second.
Ugh.
Man, I'm doing those Helen rolls.
Once he's down, he's no longer handing out uniforms, and now just plain Hawaiian shirt-clad Borises have joined the line and are shuffling forward.
I have to do this just because there is a giant group of Borises standing in a single file line, and I hope you understand why I have to do this.
I think I kind of do. What are you doing? Just to explain to
I
the kids.
think you know very well what I'm doing. I think
Yes, but
anybody
I want you
who
to-
sees
I want
the
you
guy
to-
with the giant 50 cal rifle and a line of Borises standing in single file knows exactly what I have to do.
It is time for bowling with Boris.
So I know I get 2 actions, but yeah, I'm gonna just take the one and use my second action to make sure that everything stays nice and straight.
Lining up the shot and going to go through as many Boris as possible with that shot.
That is correct. Like once I feel like it'll probably slow down after 2 or 3 Borises, so I'm just gonna make sure that it doesn't.
Oh my god.
Using a power use roll behind it.
Yeah, I'm to get rid of any drop that might be happening as well. I'll use the power usage roll first.
Okay.
Which I beat by 5.
All right.
And now for some shooting, which I may have to do some fancy stuff on. Because I'm going, heart shots, because we got to keep it, their heads could be bobbing from either side. So, trying to stay steadfast. mass. I beat that shooting test by 8, but I think I get to take another one and take the best of 2.
You do.
And I beat that shooting test by 12. So I'm going to take that one.
You sure?
Yep.
Yeah, I think so.
The shot fires, and you don't even have to help it keep speed with your power use until after it's ripped through the body of the third Boris. And then it goes through the 4th, the 5th, the 6th, and it goes through 18 Boris in Hawaiian shirts in a line and into the room beyond. And it didn't even stop there. You're just not sure if it hit anything else beyond there because you can't really see there.
Right.
But if there were any more Borises in that line, even out of your sight, they might very well have been shot too.
Well, let's go see.
And there are just dead Borises, and as they fall, as these Hawaiian shirt-clad Borises fall, they slowly fade away. Not even a Hawaiian shirt remaining. And you begin to cross the room. That is far enough. Boris say you stop here, you stop now.
Boris is wrong then.
And stepping out from between the 2 columns is what could only be described as a mech. With Boris at the cockpit of the mech.
Oh goodness.
Cigar in his mouth, looking down upon you. Now let's take some
I'm
initiative from everyone.
100% imagining the comedian from Watchmen.
Yeah, that fits. And I'll take initiative from everyone again, please. Thank you.
Okie dokie.
A thread that connects Tom to Crash, and a Thunder Laboratories that totally doesn't connect to Crash's dad or anything. Oh. Wait. Well, let's get a hashtag Crash buff to complete the theme.
Thank you, chat.
Thank you, chat.
Axe is connecting the threads.
19.
19 for John Stone.
18.
18 for Andy James.
21.
21 for Crash. What about you, Bruno?
I got a 22.
22.
Oh, we're just
Hey. And again, I go first. Yay for me.
What is this world?
Really quick, I just wanted to say before, while Crash was shooting bowling for Bruno's or for Boris's, and John was taking out the clothing guy, I wanted to go over to Andy and put my hand on her shoulder and just check in and ask how she's doing after taking the
Well, before we jump into combat, because that was happening, give us that moment, would you?
Sure.
Oh.
So Bruno, just while they're lining up the shot and taking out guys and everything in this first room that we're in, Bruno just walks over to Andy and kind of puts his arm around her shoulders. How you doing? That looked like a rough shot.
Yeah, I'm hurting for the first time in a while, but it's good to be fighting by your side again.
Oh.
Will you two just get a room already?
Hey.
That's creepy.
It would be a beautiful moment if Christian wasn't there to just like high five incest.
Sorry. It's just you two have made out in front of me too many times now, so or tried.
Once.
Hey, that's literally too many times. That's your grandpa.
That was
Jeffrey.
not us. That was avatars. It is different.
Yeah.
Very.
Well, one of us was in Avatar. Anyway, carrying.
All right, let's cut to Boris and his mech
That's
trying
so
to kill
gross.
all of them. So Boris in his ridiculously heavily armed mech is going to proceed to open fire on all of you. First with a pair of 20mm miniguns.
Can you see me?
We'll find out, shall we? I'm going to miss Bruno. I am going to miss Crash. I am going to succeed by 8 against John Stone.
What?
Oh no.
Huh?
And I am going to succeed by 2 against Andy James, which will miss. So John Stone is the only one hit by the volley of 20mm minigun fire, which is an 80 damage hit on John Stone.
Damn.
He can take it. He's okay. He's
got some
okay.
armor, but I think that did actually hurt him.
Oh yeah, but he can take it.
Yeah.
It's John Stone.
And then from the central pilot's position, a single rocket fires from the nose. And I'm going to, one of you randomly who that one's going to go towards, it's going to go towards Crash.
Wait.
Oh no, ballistics, my only weakness.
Do you have a weakness, Crash?
Yep.
And that is going to be a success by 4, which does not beat your dodge bonus. And the rocket goes past you and out the doorway, flying by.
I'm pretending it happened like that. It comes at me, I go.
And that is going to put us to Bruno next.
So how big is this mech?
It's about 18 feet off the ground and about 16 feet wide with the minigun arm pieces mounted on it. They're less arms and more just miniguns mounted on it.
And so the cockpit is like an enclosed glass kind of thing, like.
Yeah, some kind of armored thing. There seems to be some kind of a little energy field that's surrounding the cockpit area.
So first thing I'm going to do is just sling that RPG and fire it directly at the cockpit.
Yeah! Give me a shooting test.
Not rolling real great, but that still beats it by 4.
There's not much of a dodge bonus there, so the RPG round hits, explodes, blocking your vision for a second, and then the cockpit is unscathed after the firing of the RPG round.
So then for second action, we're going to run up underneath the legs, jump onto its back, kind of, like go underneath the legs, turn around, jump up, and then start tearing pieces of engine and gears and wires and whatever I can get a hold of to try and start dismantling it from behind.
Go ahead and give me an athletics test on that one.
Sure, now I roll beat that by 13.
Beat that by 13. Wow. It is, you do a perfect slide underneath, leap up, and grab hold of the back, and the first thing you rip free is for the right-hand minigun. The ammo container is just ripped clean and tossed across the room. As the coils to it break, 20-millimeter rounds scatter all over the ground and all over the room. Crash Jackson.
Hi, it's me, Crash Jackson. I'm going to use my notice skill in conjunction with my video game knowledge.
Ooh, these definitely apply here.
Yeah, and I'll be taking a look at it through my scope at the same time so I can tag it. But these giant robot creatures in these types of games usually have something on them that is glowing very brightly, and I'm using my first action to point out what that glowing piece is for all of my party.
Give me that video game knowledge action there. That one is 100% going to apply.
Let's see, it's an 8, so I beat it by 8.
This is very much an end boss video game. In fact, you suspect that this is the true actual Boris that was intended to be here at some point, rather than the line of them that is going out the door. And back where Bruno is, between the two miniguns, is a glowing circular area that is the vulnerable point of this mech.
Okay, I tag it.
All of you are aware of the glowing circular point in the rear of the mech.
All right.
And, those are my actions for the round.
All right, let's go to John Stone at a 19 next.
So Boris is in the mech, yes?
Yes, he is inside that mech. And he looks a lot like the other Borises, but there's just something different about this Boris.
With what Bruno did, is the cockpit damaged, or is it...
No, the cockpit is just fine.
Huh. Okay. So, now you said that I have bonded with Hotwire, yes?
Yep, we'll get to that, I promise.
So, does that mean I can use his abilities?
You know what? We'll do this the fast and dirty way. I want you to pick one of Hotwire's abilities right now.
Well, Hotwire can break into and start any vehicle as a standard action.
Is that the one you're picking?
Yes.
All right. Let me take that down for my notes.
That goes on your permanent character sheet, bud.
Oh, just that one?
Usually it's just one, sometimes two abilities that you get from an avatar that you've bonded. You'll, because he's your only bonded avatar, you'll end up getting more in the long run. And his skills that you have also will raise those skills. It's pretty cool.
Will you give me an advanced technology roll and an athletics roll to pull this off?
Well, if I had known that I only had a choice of one to keep forever, I might not have chosen that one. I didn't know we were going with this, GM.
Yeah.
Damn GMing.
That works. You don't always get the choice. It's nice of him to give you the choice.
Welcome to James.
Usually you don't get a choice.
I would have preferred the power to create life as the other than the power to teleport, and I didn't get it.
And yet here we are.
Fine. Anyway, what am I rolling? What and who?
I need an athletics roll and an advanced technology roll from you.
Okay. Fair enough. Oh wait, sorry, I gotta roll 8s. Whoop. Boop, 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 boop. Okay, athletics roll, beat that by 11.
You leap across the room, landing on the cockpit, and give me that advanced technology roll.
Beat that by 8.
You find just the right spot, reach in through the electric field, pop a switch, and flip open the canopy of the cockpit, leaving Boris completely exposed. His cigar falls out of his mouth into his lap, and his jaw is hanging open as he is looking up at you. Andy James.
Mm-hmm.
That was one attack.
Nope, that's both between the athletics and the breaking and entering there.
Fine, fine.
So Boris is exposed, and his mech is under the control of Hotwire.
Yeah, Hotwire could easily take control of it, though, in a few seconds, but he's right there at that moment. He's on the cusp of it.
Okay. So it's probably not worth crippling the mech, since it could be an asset for us in the future.
Not if Boris doesn't live through your turn. Correct.
Right. All right. Excellent. I feel like it's demon knife time. I really do. And let's see. I have demon knives.
Like time. Any time
Sorry,
is
what?
demon knife time. So much like time, any time is demon knife time.
Your athletics test on the thrown knife, please.
Yeah, absolutely. Beat that by 14.
You throw the knife sort of between the legs of John Stone, and it sticks in the forehead of Boris.
Nice reflexes.
Who gets his face kind of permanently stuck as his body does not fade away, with the jaw hanging open, eyes looking up at John Stone, and then the knife blade embedded in his forehead.
Awesome. I just gotta ask, John Stone, did you feel a breeze? This is for posterity, so please don't lie.
Actually, in the middle of all of this ruckus and hubbub, no, I did not feel the breeze.
Well, all right. I guess I'll have to get closer next time.
Were you trying to hit him in his roballs?
More. I guess I was curious if they.
They're more like ball bearings, actually.
Gotcha. So probably no diodes attached.
Diodes?
Is that what I mean?
I don't know. But if you do, you're a freak, and I love it.
Interestingly enough, as soon as that knife impact hit, your 5-star level disappeared.
Oh.
Hey, John, I think Andy is trying to figure out whether you're fully functional or not for future use.
Future use?
Please stop trying to make our squad into personal sex toys for you.
But I'm 2 of 3 already, so.
Now you ming out with your grandfather makes more sense.
It's funny because you made out with your grandfather.
Oh my god! Hey, but I'm married to you, so.
You're like, well, yeah. So you cheated on me with your grandpa. That's not less weird.
Wait, I thought we were keeping it all in the family.
Then I guess I have to make out with Bruno too?
I mean.
Or I have to make out with my own grandma or grandpa. And they're both dead. But I am bonded to a necromancer.
So what you're saying is nothing is impossible.
Is that although I have the capability to be as freaky as you, I choose not to because I'm not a weirdo.
Remember, Christian, you're the one who recruited me.
And I regret nothing. As a character, let me just say I regret nothing.
All right. Well.
So where were
Can we get back to killing or something?
The gutter, I believe.
we were checking out John Stone's ball bearings.
Right. Quick, I'm just gonna use my grappling hook to pull myself out of the gutter.
Thank you. That's a free action. You take it.
Yep, the 5 stars has disappeared. Boris is dead in the cockpit of his mech.
Wow,
Now
that was
what?
easy.
Surely it can't be this easy.
Did anything change?
No, there's still a lot. Is there any Borises left?
Yeah, Borises are still coming out in Hawaiian shirts and joining the queue, which is going back towards the door now that the killing has stopped. It took a minute for them to catch up through all of the dead ones. But
Yeah, we got to go.
We got to find Tom.
Boris Tomlovich.
We got to find Tom.
Since I'm standing right here, right by Boris, do I notice anything about him? Anything?
He didn't fade away. He didn't fade away. That's the first thing you really noticed about him. He's the first Boris to not fade away. He's still in the cockpit. Still has the knife is gone. It of course has returned to wherever it is that Andy pulls it out of thin air from.
Is he bleeding or is he dead?
There's a line of blood from the wound dripping down his nose.
Is it actual blood?
It's video game blood.
Oh, okay. So
Let's open his shirt. I know that's weird.
Say what
Now
now?
I'm just getting freaky.
Pull open his shirt. See Hawaiian underneath.
All right, I rip the shirt open.
No, he has a tank top on underneath and some dog tags.
Bingo.
What did dog tag say?
Maybe
it's written in Russian.
So, you think I can't read Russian?
Oh,
I can probably translate it if you need to, but they're Russian military dog tags.
It just says Boris.
It says Boris, Boris.
B. Khrushchev.
Huh.
What's his rank?
Major.
Just a major? So this guy isn't even, he can't be in charge of this place. He might be in charge of installation, but he's not in charge of...
He wasn't a military officer in this world. He's a former military officer turned terrorist.
As the only one who's still even slightly Avatar, yes, Crash/Sure Shot has it right.
His military rank wouldn't matter in his terrorist organization that he runs.
That's correct.
He's like Cobra Commander.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah,
just me.
Do we notice anything else going on?
Bruno
Is there
knows.
anything-
The line of Hawaiian shirt-clad Borises is continuing to grow further and further out from the doorway.
We got to get through that doorway.
Yeah.
All right, you make your way past the Hawaiian shirt-clad Borises and into a almost plain white room. There is one thing really dominating the landscape in here. Tom, you can see and hear, is in some kind of field of electricity, and every few seconds he spasms uncontrollably and has a grimace of pain, and then another Boris appears in a Hawaiian shirt.
Okay.
Attached to something?
He's in an electrical field. Let me. May I?
Are there somebody pouring water on him?
No.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
They're using him. All right. I'm going to go get him out of there.
All right, you step into the electrical field and you begin immediately taking 100 points of electrical damage, which doesn't do a whole lot to you in this particular case.
Yeah.
You, in fact, absorb it. You grab hold of Tom and pull him free.
Tom?
As you get to the other side, he kind of shakes his head a little bit, looks confused for a second, stares around the room, looks a little bit upset or distracted, it's hard to say what, and then waves his hand and everything disappears and turns into just a single, simple, plain white room. It's very familiar to you, Andy James. You've been in this white room before.
I mean,
Continuing to pointedly ignore you, he waves his hands again, and the landscape turns into green fields with fruit trees, blue skies, and white clouds. Birds, insects, and small animals appear next, and then it begins to expand, adding distant forests, tall mountains topped with snowy peaks. It's warm, but not hot, with just a touch of wind, and lots of butterflies.
hey, Tommy, old buddy, old pal, what's happening?
There. That's more like it. Thank you for the assist, pilots. That was an exceedingly uncomfortable experience.
How long have you...
Kidnapped by an NPC.
Not unlike when we first met, huh, Mr. Jackson?
No, I guess not.
You were quite young then.
Yeah.
Also, it is good to see you, Miss James. You have done well for yourself and the Metaverse, just as I knew you would.
Thank you. I would be lying if I said I wasn't a little bit leery of you right now.
Of course, Miss James.
Are you from here?
I am here.
This whole place is you, then?
Yes.
That's why it's not whole.
That is correct. This is my own microcosm, a realm that affixes itself to other metaverses for a time before moving on to another. It is as much me as who you see. We are one and the same.
Why?
Should we be expecting a visit from Zenda any moment?
Why would Ronald Gabriel Zenda be coming here?
Funny story. I'd like to... I have no way of doing that. John Stone can, though. Can you scan him? To see if he's a shard?
A shard?
A shard rather than a Tom.
Sure.
Just take a scan of him. Let me take a look at it.
Give me an advanced technology, John.
Beat it by 3.
You can't differentiate the being standing before you from the landscape. They all have the same energy signature.
Yeah, it seems like this whole place, well, it's him, like you said. So, Tom, if you're this and this is you, how is somebody able to capture you inside of you?
Years ago, Colonel Jackson tricked and imprisoned me. He had the help of others. They were intent on taking control of my place to suit their own purposes. When Jackson was gone, his creations took on a mind of their own. And they continue to do what they have been designed to do. A training program. Mr. Jackson can tell you more, if you're curious. He spent a great deal of time here.
I'd never really put 2 and 2 together that was you.
Of course it was, Mr. Jackson.
So, the Tom that we dealt with was a shard to begin with.
That is correct, Mr. Jackson.
So, Tom was the playground that Thunder built for you when you were young, but they then, after you were no longer part of the program, they turned into the basis of Project Metaverse.
You are partially correct, Mr. Hamilton. I was already in existence. Mr. Jackson and his friends simply corrupted this place to suit their own purposes.
And then used the pieces of it that they took to create the tactical operations matrix.
That is correct.
You're not even really Tom.
That was a name that Jackson decided upon.
What should we call you instead?
Tom is acceptable.
Great. Hey, I know this is probably weird, but like next time you get a chance to do a Google search, you might want to reconsider that shirt. It's just become slightly problematic. I don't really want to talk about it or get into it, but like think about it.
Yes. The
Throw
Hawaiian
that out
shirt.
for you.
I adopted it from one of the companions of the Colonel Jackson when his visit here. One of them that corrupted the landscape. Mr. Krieger, I believe his name was.
Yeah, Nick. Oh, Nick.
So Nick and Jackson came here, found you, and then used you to develop their training programs and the spaces. Okay.
In essence, you would be correct.
What is your purpose in life?
What is my purpose? What am I? Answering that question could be potentially dangerous to your very existence. But I can see from the recent events that have transpired that there is little point in avoiding it.
Mini-God, calling it now.
You will be confronted with that answer soon enough. I am the same as, or more appropriately, I am a variation of the things you currently consider your enemies and a threat to the metaverse. Much as Harvester was, I am, or was, a nightmare. We take many forms, much like your metaverses do. And as we are nightmares, they and yourselves are dreams. I understand that such a revelation could have negative consequences for you, and I do apologize. In my travels, separated as I was, that portion of me that was Tom, that you knew, changed things. It became intertwined with the dreams that I once fed upon. I am uncertain exactly what it is that I am now, only that I am changed. By you, Miss James and Abigail. 2 more intertwined dreams. It is a complex web, is it not? And who are the dreamers? I do not know.
So are you telling us that we ourselves are not real?
What is real, Miss James?
Well, I would assume flesh and body people, but if we are...
James,
We're real. We're real enough. We're real enough to have been able to rescue him. So if we're not real, neither is he.
As I explained, I am a
He
nightmare.
thought us, therefore we are?
I don't believe you understand, Miss James. I did not think you. Dreams exist independent of nightmares.
But nightmares are still useful for teaching lessons. They
This is
shouldn't be.
correct.
They shouldn't be destroyed out of hand unless they're like Harvester and are just parasites.
This is correct. Harvester also was a corruption. Whether by design or choice.
So who was the architect of all this?
I do not know.
Huh.
That's the dreamer. Or dreamers.
I think we all learned something today.
A lot. Wait,
More maybe than we were ready for.
I apologize for that, but your present course of action would have these things be forcibly revealed to you, and perhaps by an enemy who would use such knowledge against you.
They always do.
You do currently struggle against these nightmares, do you not?
Yeah. Yeah, we do. We've been fighting them any way we can for a while now, and it has not been going well. We decided to take a new tactic, which seems to work a little bit better, but we don't know if we're making any progress.
It is a difficult thing to gauge.
I'm just trying to balance the darkness with some kind of light, and that's such an abstract concept that, it seems like maybe we're succeeding sometimes, but we've nothing to show for it, so perhaps we're not.
It is an interesting conundrum.
So, loot boxes. That's something you generate, or is that something that comes from the Dreamers?
I would say that I create them, or more so that I separate portions of myself. Loot boxes are part of me.
And
the old Tom could only pull loot boxes from things that were already in that metaverse unless something happened special.
That is correct.
So since he was a shard, he was probably just using whatever was handy, like a ingrained skill or ability.
That would be accurate, Mr. Jackson.
What about Monday or Milkshake with the letters?
I am sorry, I do not know who that is.
Huh.
I don't really either. But...
Monday.
Connected to Joe's Diner somehow.
Ah, I see. You are speaking of the Chronicler. Monday. That is the name she chose. I understand now.
Is the Chronicler like you? Is it a dreamer? What is the Chronicler exactly?
I am uncertain. The Chronicler is a connection. More than that, I cannot say.
High concept stuff, for sure.
And with that, there seems to be a slight tear in the fabric of reality behind you, and stumbling through it is Jonathan Rhodes, missing his hat, covered in dirt, with a half dozen wounds, cuts, and scrapes on his body. He does not look well.
Not Zenda Rhodes, but old school Rhodes?
Old school Rhodes. Jonathan, who had the position before Zenda. Falling down onto his knees and then pulling himself up. Finally, found you. I'm looking everywhere. It took her. Crash. It took her.
What took who? I legit thought you were here to put us in prison.
She said she found something to help, and it found her. It found us, and it took her.
Who?
I can't find her anywhere.
Who?
That thing, that oily, greasy thing.
No, her. Who's her, John?
Monday. It took Monday.
That's the lady that writes the letters.
That's the Chronicler.
Yeah.
That's Milkshake.
Yeah.
That's the one who told us it could all end.
John, we can find her. She's been helping.
Where did it take her?
I don't know. I've been looking everywhere, and I can travel anywhere. I can't find her. She's nowhere.
Rhodes, we can help. Don't
You
panic.
gotta find her.
We will. We just need a way to get there. She's been helping us this whole time.
The Chronicler. The Chronicler is connected to many metaverses.
There's threads.
Yes, threads.
We've been getting threads. Every time I follow them, it helps.
Gold threads.
Those are the ones.
Oh, I've seen them too.
I believe this being intends to use these threads much as it would use a pilot.
Gross.
But whereas a pilot would limit to accessing a single metaverse or dream, using this Monday would allow it to access all of them.
Oh wow, she's using Evil Tom's old plan. Nice.
Oh God.
Well, she's our friend, so we're gonna go help her. Don't worry about that, Rhodes. Have you talked to other Rhodes?
Can't find him anywhere either. Don't know where he is.
Is he gone?
I don't think so. I think he's doing something somewhere. I just can't seem to find him.
Have you tried breaking a law?
No.
Would you give it a spin?
If you wanna find Rhodes, first thing you gotta do is break the law. Won't work for us, because we've got immunity right now.
It's not a terrible idea.
Just in case you needed an idea, I do have those.
I didn't think of that one. I can go do that. You said you can find her. You've got to find her. You've got to help her. I'll find Zenda. I'll find Rhodes and
look, if she wants or needs to be found, we'll find her.
But you've got to help her.
Okay.
We will. We will.
And wait a minute. Is that Tom?
No.
Sort of.
That's Magnum PI. He just shaved his mustache.
We'll talk about this later. I'm going to go break a law and find Zenda. I'll catch up with you soon, Crash. And another tear in reality opens, and Jonathan stumbles through it, and it closes up behind him.
I know we're going to help him, but I still don't like that fucking guy.
What's that German word that means like you're taking joy in someone else's pain? Because right now,
is it Farfignugan? I want it to be Farfignugan.
No, not the one Andy said.
Wiener Schnitzel?
Ooh, I like
Schadenfreude.
Schadenfreude. I think I finally understand Schadenfreude at the idea of him breaking a law and getting arrested. It kind of is more confusing than it probably should be.
That both helps him and makes me very happy at the same time, so I'm down with it as well.
Not too upset about it, no.
I hope Zenda does the finger snapping thing at him. I fucking hate that.
If a nightmare took this chronicler, it will be difficult to retrieve her.
Where do we begin looking? How do we find her before we can retrieve her?
All nightmares require that they exist within another metaverse by attaching to them. Sometimes these are transient. They will move from metaverse to metaverse.
Like you.
Yes. And as it moves from metaverse to metaverse, it may be hard to find. But within this transient zone, within this nightmare, this being controls what is reality. You will be walking into its home, and it will decide what you see, what you hear, and what you feel.
Oh boy.
That's literally my whole life normally anyway.
I just remember the last nightmare realm I was unprepared for.
Good, you're definitely coming then.
Great.
This will probably be worse.
What?
This will probably be worse.
No, I heard
will
you the
have
first
prepared.
time. That was an exclamation, not a question. What? How does it get worse than blood-filled balloons and things grabbing you under the table?
It will have prepared itself for whatever it is that hurts you the most.
Right.
So, suggestion, when we get back before we send anyone into these places, a visit with Dr. Clarkson to get our brains in the right place is probably in order.
Are you telling me that you would actually take psychiatric advice from Dr. Clarkson?
Have you met the rest of the shrinks that we have access to through the military?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, she's probably the better option of those, but she's still possibly a psychopath, and we do need to take that into consideration.
I think at this point, none of us are too far from that reality. So many personalities running around in our heads. So many actions under our belts that we may never be able to come to grips with.
Andy James, you have it worse than most in that particular case. Most of the rest of us only have to deal with one at a time. Also, you're the only one here who's made out with your grandparent.
Oh my god. And that's the real reason that I need to talk to Dr. Jenica Clarkson.
Yeah.
You are many dreams rolled into one, Miss James.
Those were our avatars.
Did you hear that, Andy James? You are a lot of dreams rolled up into one.
I know, I just heard that I'm a dreamboat. And I am disproportionately pleased by that, but also still horrified that they took Monday. Whatever.
When you go after her, remember this and use it as your strength.
She's helped us a lot along the way, and she might be the key to ending this whole thing to begin with, so we're definitely going to help her.
Of course.
Although I don't know how we're going to lock on to a nightmare that's on to a metaverse until we identify it. So let's hope for more threads and a lot of luck.
Hey, Tom.
Hey, Tom? Yes. How do we get out of your shithole nightmare?
I have nothing preventing you from leaving. You may leave at any time you choose, and you are welcome to return whenever you so choose.
Actually, that would be
always welcome here.
This is literally my favorite metaverse right now, now that it's no longer corrupted, because it is just a giant video game, and I want to come play here all the time.
Oh, of course. And as you require, I can change the environment to whatever you so wish, Mr. Jackson.
Yes, I know that now, and I'm even more excited about that. Candy bushes everywhere.
Candy bushes. And with that, bushes with lollipops on them up here. Candy bushes.
I just saw Helen's expression, and I know what's going through her head.
What?
Nothing's going through my head.
Is it because you thought Candy Bushes was the name of a porn star and not actual bushes with candy on them?
No, it's because Helen thinks of sweet things. And
Yes, yeah, thank you. Thank you. That's exactly, uh-huh.
Of course she does. She's all those dreams rolled into one.
And I guess one of them is about candy bushes, so...
And her sister, Cindy.
Now that Crash has candy bushes, is he going to go suck on them?
No?
All right,
Shame on you. You're a father.
Look, you two, get a metaverse. Jackson out.
And that's all we have for tonight's episode of Masters of the Metaverse, guys. I want to thank you all for joining us. I believe that Void Jumpers is coming back this week after taking their 1 week hiatus with a new season.
Yeah!
Brand new season. More Void Jumpers, more crazy stuff.
Introduce a new performer to you as Brian Lewis deals with becoming a new father, which I think is...
Yes.
Yeah. And
who's the new cast member?
Do we have DJ Game Night tomorrow? His name's Casey Jackson. He's an actor in LA.
Nice.
In LA.
Yeah, DJ Game Night is tomorrow.
Gentlemen Game Night.
And Zoe Game Night is not back yet, but they're going to be returning once they're going to be coming in with just the hosts in the studio and bringing in guests by Skype, but they'll be doing that starting right after Gen Con. So
hey, got more to look for in August. And oh, hey, Gen Con, we've got some great stuff coming for Gen Con. There's Gamers Live happening for Gen Con.
Gamers Live.
There's a Metaverse special happening for Gen Con. Oh yeah, Metaverse happening. Gen Con special. Don't want to miss it. Make sure that you register for Gen Con as soon as you can. It's gone virtual. There's so much stuff that they're offering.
For special episodes.
If you've never had a chance to play Demon Hunters, Gen Con is usually the perfect time to jump on board that bandwagon because they're usually running a whole bunch of games. So take a look at the schedule and see if you can get onto one of those if you're interested in trying that game out.
There's some Demon Hunters I believe they're even running a Demon Hunters use of rules for a Metaverse-inspired game there.
Oh, a Fate Metaverse? That's sweet.
Yeah, Fate Metaverse is definitely happening on one of those that's being run. So you don't want to miss that one.
Can someone play as Arcadian if they are in Demon Hunters?
Yeah, he's one of the pre-gens, so of course.
Yeah.
Wow.
Again.
Yeah, I've actually run games at Gen Con where Arcadian was in the party. I ran one at MobyCon where he basically Arcadian was like the hero of that whole story because that player just knew what was up.
Wow.
Yep, lots of great stuff. And then I have it on good authority that Couriers with Trapper and Crow will return this Friday. There are the schedule hiccups seem to be taken care of.
I keep hearing that too.
Yeah, I don't know.
What happened? I miss those boys.
Yep, missed those guys too. So we're hoping to bring more of Couriers with Trapper and Crow coming back to you. Anyway, love you guys. Thank you for joining us. And next week we will begin the first episode in a 2-part series for the finale of this season. That's right, 2 weeks back-to-back finale for this season of Metaverse. You don't want to miss it. The ending of Dreams and Nightmares. Love all you guys. See you next time.
Night.
Masters of the Metaverse, masters of the Metaverse. They travel through time and space and stuff. Control them, re-roll them, throw them above. They fly through dimensions, this isn't bluff. Heroes compelled, they have no choice. Bound by the winds of a secret voice. Masters of the Metaverse, masters of the Metaverse. Masters of the Metaverse, masters of the Metaverse.